Okay, welcome to episode 7 of Last Men Standing. I am Stu. I am joined by...
Me, Steve.
And...
Hey, a very tired Richie.
There we go. Okay, so this week we are going to talk about ourselves a bit. In a sort of vanity project.
I see what you did. What are we drinking?
Yeah, what's everybody drinking?
Bourbon and Coke.
Bourbon and Coke.
Dr.
Big
Pepper.
brand.
There's no
Other brands are available.
no
10-year Bush Bills.
no product placements this week, which is quite nice.
Not that I would try to get free stuff.
So how's everybody's week been? Decent?
Quiet, uneventful,
It's like the stupidest question now, innit? Because
chilling on furlough.
we're all doing work or fuck all. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's just
Pretty much.
it's.
Playing guitar, listening to music. Look
I-
after kids.
I have played some guitar. I have listened to some music.
I built the 132 scale limited edition Iron Maiden Spitfire.
Nice.
Yeah, it's sat just above the camera. It's lovely.
You get a look.
No,
What have we been listening to this week? Music stuff.
This week I have mostly been listening to. Yeah, I don't feel I've listened to as much this week, to be honest. I'm struggling to think. I listened to Entombed, The Left Hand Path,
Okay.
because it was like the 30 years ago that was. Fucking man, I was like not even born when that came out. That's a quick lie. But yeah, it was the 30th anniversary of that, so I was jamming that. Forgot how good it was. Banging record. What else been listening to? Wolf Tooth, like Still. And that's not really been off on the old Bandcamp. Not really. I kind of went a bit of a Maiden kick as well. And Robert Pearson as well. Still, whenever I'm in the car, which is not very often at the minute, obviously, but whenever I'm in the car, that's one. Still, really, I think that might be the newest one.
Are we talking Out of the Dark or just a general?
No, Out of the Dark. I think that might be my favourite one. Like,
It's a great record. It really is good.
and I love the first two, but I don't know. It's not even that it's got better songs; it's just a better vibe, I think, to it. It's really diverse.
It is. It's a wee bit more, eclectic than some of
I
the.
think it's like they're finding their groove a bit more now.
Aye, probably.
Like they're kind of into it now, and they kind of know where they're going. It's just a shame they've not been able to. Well, I talked about this last week, but they've not been able to capitalise on the record coming out. They can't tour it or anything, which is a shame because
That's going to be a problem. I think
hear them.
and who've just released records is without being able to tour them, it automatically takes away that stream of revenue that you had before of concerts and merch and just getting your music out to people who might not have heard it if they come and see the gig.
Yeah, exactly. Or like festival bills primarily. I imagine that's what they would have been mostly doing is festivals.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got that, like different fans that would not normally listen to you finding out about you. But if you're listening, go and listen to Robert Pearson's Humbucker and Trust. They're really good band.
Indeed. I have been listening to quite a bit of Dio this week.
Have you?
Yeah. I did a lot of his solo stuff, but I kind of, somebody must have, is it like the anniversary of something to do with them, or I don't know. I get the feeling somebody mentioned Dio at some point, and I just went, I'm going to listen to some Dio.
I believe it's 38 years since this week since Holy Diver was released.
That may have been what prompted me to do it then. I listened to the Heaven and Hell album, Mob Rules, and the band Heaven and Hell as well, which were
Red or Black.
all really good.
Yeah.
I'm getting the feeling I've listened to other stuff, but that's what's coming to mind. So that's what we're going with.
I'm just kind of listening to stuff like just putting it on and then falling asleep at night. I'm just spending more time doing other stuff at the minute, just like actually writing and playing and headphones on and stuff. So I'll be mostly doing that, and then by the time because when I start doing that, I generally do it when everyone's in bed, kids are in bed, so I don't start till like 11. So that's me till like 1-2 o'clock, and by then it's bed. Put an album on, but usually fall asleep by track 3.
Yeah, I've done a bit of that myself, writing. It's been fun. Yeah. Richie, what have you been playing? Anything?
Van Halen.
New
Van
band?
Halen.
Just a continuation of last week.
I've got a very short memory this week with being at work and being very busy, etc. I had the first 2 Van Halen albums on today while working. Other than that, I can't really remember what else. Although, the other day, a film was on TV called Strategic Air Command, starring James Stewart. And me and my son both love an aircraft, thought watch it. And I checked out the soundtrack to that film because the music during the takeoff of the bomber sequence is absolutely fantastic.
Yep.
It's a big moody orchestral piece, but inspiring and whatnot. So I checked out the soundtrack of that, mostly for that piece of music.
Sweet.
Definitely.
Also, actually, I've just remembered I played Deep Purple's Stormbringer album as well.
Yeah, good record.
After some funky Blackmore. The seldom heard funky Blackmore. I would
Funny enough,
for a good reason. It's not.
No,
it's not good.
I would have liked some more funky Blackmore. That was a good record. It was different. It wasn't very Deep Purple-y, but it was a good record.
Funny enough, I was spinning some deal the other day actually. I needed to check a CD drive to make sure it worked, and I just reached for a random CD that happened to be Diamonds, the best of Dio, so I left that running.
You can't go wrong, really, can you? Dio.
Ronnie always delivered the goods generally. A couple of patchy records in the middle of his solo career, but
You're allowed that.
He had a pretty good hit rate. Let's not beat around the bush here. If anybody did half of that in their career, they'd consider themselves well accomplished.
If you just did Holy Diver, you'd be fine. In fact, if you just did Heaven and Hell, you'd be fine.
If you just did Rainbow, he'd have been fine. News? Any interesting news? I suppose the only thing I can think of is Steve Priest from The Sweet dying. We're now been a bit of an obituary. Like last week it was Bob Kulick. This week we're getting Steve Priest.
You posted a picture. I don't know if it was a picture you posted or if it was a thumbnail from a YouTube thing that you posted, and it was like about Steve Priest, but it was a picture of that Brian Scott, and I just thought, like, how much did he look like Joe Elliott in that picture? Like, I had to double take. I thought maybe it was like a leopard cover that you posted, and just the way we stand, and it was like, fuck, shows you how much of an influence they were.
Oh yeah, the Sweet were great.
I love the Sweet.
Yeah. They were one of those bands. This is going to lead us quite nicely into today's topic, I suppose, because they're one of those bands who I listened to a lot growing up because my dad particularly was a massive fan of the Sweet, still is a massive fan of the Sweet, but they were just one of those bands. He was very big on 70s glam, so I got like lots of Slade, lots of the Sweet, T-Rex, that kind of stuff. It was Mott the Hoople, who I never really considered a glam band. But
they kind of jumped on the bandwagon a bit, didn't they, when they got
tagged in? I think it's the Bowie kind of link that kind of gets them tagged in there a bit.
Yeah. Pete Watts used to spray his hair silver.
Yeah.
So.
Ariel Bender looked kind of mad. So, that sort of thing.
Cracking name that, named after the fact that he did bend Ariel's.
I love that story.
Lovely.
And it was like, Lindsay DePaul that named him, I'm sure, was like, oh, look at him there, bending aerials. He's an aerial bender.
Car aerials. Brilliant. The literal sense of humour.
So is that it? Any other news? Anything?
No, I mean, pretty much everything's been dominated by what's happening in the States and everywhere else, so there's not really been much room for music stuff.
Yeah, we're kind of. Well, I suppose we had the blackout Tuesday of all like music, social media, and stuff. So that was an entire day of nothing. There was just no coming through because nobody was posting anything.
So there was that.
Indeed.
But other than that, nah, nothing. Nobody's doing much really.
No,
I think. Well, they're doing stuff, but they're not doing anything that
you can't really be scheduling releases at this time because
there's probably a lot of under the radar stuff happening.
It'll be like working towards what we're going to do when things open up again. Because I didn't discover this until quite recently. One of the major problems people, apart from the fact that you can't really release anything because you can't tour it, one of the main things that's been a problem in lockdown is that Amazon were not accepting any new releases into the distribution centre.
Yeah, no, well, they focused on, and at the start of it, they were just focusing on essential purchases. So, like, if you're buying a CD, you were waiting stupid amounts of time anyway.
Even if you wanted to buy something from Amazon, Amazon were not accepting the delivery of the new CDs from the distributors. So that would just kill any record's momentum. If you couldn't get it on release day, there'd be like no point in releasing it, you know?
Correct.
So it's until...
As well, there's a lot of people kind of shying away from buying anything just because they don't know where they stand with their employers and stuff like that, where they're going to have a job by the time they go back to work. So they're holding off on buying shit that's not essential.
Yeah.
So it's a bad time to bring stuff out.
Yeah, I think so. But, you know, I'm sure it'll change eventually. It always does.
Yeah,
we're starting to kind of see the beginnings of the easing in general around the world. I think it's everybody's kind of setting the same sort of a timetable now that in the next couple of months things will be, you know, way more back to normal than they were.
Sort of August time is kind of what everyone seems to be shooting for.
Yeah, I think.
And then it'll hit again in October, and that'll be us again.
Well, provided we can get into the studio at some point before then, I'll consider it quite happy if we can get something done.
2 month window.
There you go. If anybody's wondering when the next album's going to come out, because we get asked that a lot, once we can get physically into a building to record it and not be like arrested for doing it.
And then once we can remember how to play all the songs we wrote.
I actually went through a couple of them yesterday. That was fun. I was kind of thinking, how's that bit go again? But I remembered.
No. I'm sure muscle memory will.
It'll kick back in once the noise starts up again. Well, Corona. You can't say that on YouTube. I think I've just demonetized us, but we're not monetized anyway, so it doesn't work.
The algorithm fucked.
We'll be shadow banned and blocked from posting anything. Well, from that then, I think we'll just go straight into today's topic.
Yeah.
Which is us. We're going to kind of talk a little bit about how we ended up in the position we're in as kind of metal fans and like what led us to the path of metal. Does that sound fair enough?
Yeah, and kind of I suppose what ended up taking that further and becoming musicians ourselves.
You can pad that out a bit. And seeing as you seem to have the best grasp of how we're going to do this, Steve, you can start. You walked right.
I've got a long-winded story, so get your drinks ready, folks.
Oh, that's fine, right?
Feel free to dip in at any point, so it's a conversation, not just me.
We'll do it in a kind of local I wonder if anybody's caught on to that gag yet.
Nobody outside of Britain, anyway.
Nobody's mentioned it.
I don't think anyone else outside of Britain would have heard of the old. If you're not familiar, watch any Carry On film.
You'll
see it's a masterclass of innuendo acting.
In my mind, I've got Leslie, what's his face, giving it the, oh, I say.
He was good.
Yeah.
I can't remember his second name. I know what you mean, though.
Leslie something. Shit.
Somebody Google it.
Yeah,
I'm talking.
come back to me. Right, so like take us back to like
young Steve, young little Steve walking about with a full head of hair, loving life, not knowing what's coming ahead. So I reckon you can trace. Well, go a wee bit further back than when I got into it. So like in my house, music. You're talking about like the glam stuff that your dad was into. So in my house, there was music. The first thing I can remember listening to, like I don't know how old I would have been, like really 3, 4. We're talking like mega young. I can remember listening to Billy Joel. My mum had her greatest hits, the Billy Joel record. I cannot remember the song, but it's got a helicopter at the start of it. Like the thud of the helicopter rotors, it's stuck in my head. So there was that, and there was like pop bands at the time, like Duran Duran and stuff like that. I can remember mum having a 7-inch copy of Under the Boardwalk, Bruce Willis version.
That's a tune, man. That's still a great song.
Bruce could chant.
Yeah, Bruce is like finest hour as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. That's weird how that's stuck in my head. That's really strange. But all that kind of 80s stuff, was just kind of. But mum and dad were necessarily music fans at that time because it was the early 80s, and you didn't really have time to be a music fan because it was a recession on. You just had to graft.
Did you find like
get the work done?
When we were kids a lot? We listened to the radio in the house a lot.
Oh fuck yeah! The radio was big, man.
Radio 1 would be on, and it would be like your Steve Wrights and shit like that, and they would play just random, like all kinds of. There would be rock and pop and stuff. Like
and there'd be
you get like.
Do you remember the road shows? Remember the road shows?
Oh yeah. Radio 1 road shows. Yeah, I remember them. I went a couple of those.
I remember going to one. I remember going to one of those. That's probably my first gig, actually, Radio 1 Roadshow.
I met at Radio 1 Roadshow, I met Martine McCutcheon.
Wow.
Before she was Martine McCutcheon, she was in some pop band.
Ah, yeah, you're right, yeah.
I can't remember what they were called. They did fuck all, but I remember meeting her just randomly in the crowd.
Wow.
And spoke to her. And I was pretty small at the time, but
No idea who was at the one that I went to. I can just remember being there, but I can't remember who was there.
She tried to launch a career as a singer after she left EastEnders. I remember a single she put out.
Yeah.
And it was quickly forgotten.
So I can remember that. I can remember wearing a Bros jumper back in the day, a green Bros jumper. I'm pretty sure I was wearing it. Yeah, I fucking loved Bros when I was young. Got a bandana over there as well. I still sleep with on tonight.
I still love Bros, and really my love of Bros got reignited because of that documentary. I'm looking at the DVD somewhere over there. That's the funniest thing that I've seen for years. It's the most Spinal Tap, unspinal tap.
Yeah, ever. One of the most quotable movies in a long time.
Yeah,
can't even play Conkers in England. Brilliant.
So much fun. If you've not seen it, look it up. I can't remember what it's called. It's the Bros documentary.
After the screaming's done or something like that. It's called. It's something like that.
Amazing.
Fucking amazing. And I can remember going into like a little Michael Jackson phase. All kids my age were. I had the bad T-shirt and shit.
I still love Michael Jackson.
Yeah, and mum and dad always had the Now compilations as well. So you got a good kind of mixture of everything on those. Like whatever was in the charts at that point was on these tapes.
Yeah.
Remember that, and there was a lot of Queen in the car. Queen Greatest Hits 1 and 2 got smashed in the car when I was a kid. So that was all kind of percolating. So I guess I'd heard rock music through that. Like on the Now things, I'd probably heard like Whitesnake and Marillion and stuff like that. And I'd heard obviously Eddie on the Michael Jackson stuff. And then I can remember, like when Freddie Mercury died, they had the tribute concert in '92. And then, I mean, me and my sister were like big Queen and Bowie fans. So we taped it, and then it would get watched like at least once a week. So we'd fast forward it to the bit where Queen were on.
Yeah.
So you get Queen playing where like they played George Michael who did a great job incidentally.
He did.
He really fucking did a good job. Like, forget your Adam, what's his name? I don't remember his second name. Forget him. George fucking nailed it. And you get all these other guys on and be like, oh, that's George Michael, that's Bowie was on it, David Bowie. I don't know who that guy is with the crosses and the all the black. He's kind of weird. Who's that guy with the ripped denim? Who's the guy with the white leather jacket? That's kind of weird. Never thought about it. For some reason, one day we forgot to fast forward it, and then all of a sudden it was Extreme. We opened it. And I was like, oh fuck, that More Than Words song. I remember that from radio, from the wireless. That was good.
Extreme's medley in that.
And they did a medley of Queen songs, and really at that point it was just like, oh, Extreme play Queen songs really well. That's cool. I kind of dig that. And then it was Metallica. I remember thinking, that's a bit growly. That don't know about that. And they only played like 3 songs off the Black Album, so they weren't fucking. It was like not heavy Metallica at all. And then Def Leppard, Guns N' Roses, and then I was like, oh, okay, and that was kind of the point where it kind of hit for me. I was like, right, this is, and then I kind of started exploring it from that point on. So I was like, right, this is what heavy metal is. So then you kind of you turn it like a little detective, and you're like, well, this is fucking great. What else is like this? So going through my dad's record collection, found Led Zeppelin, Thin Lizzy, Deep Purple. I think the main thing was Jailbreak by Thin Lizzy, purely because of the cover. It always stood out to me, like that on vinyl, because it's got the kind of fold out bit. We've got the actual illustration there, and the illustration closes, and there's a wee fiery bit in the middle. Really like eye-catching design. I think that's kind of what got me into liking album covers too. Twitch is going to pull it out.
Yeah. Hey, why not? Not wrong with a few props here and there.
Yeah, that's it. And then open it, see, like how badass is that? Jim Fitzpatrick was a great artist. One of the best.
Great album.
We need to talk about cover artists at some point, but not today.
The best album covers and worst.
Yeah. So that, and then that kind of led to going out and buying No Prayer for the Dying by Maiden on tape.
Wow.
And that was it from there on. That was like down the rabbit hole, obsessed with Maiden. Something with Maiden just clicked. And I don't know what it was. It just kind of was like, this is the thing. And then bought everything, posters on the wall, obsessed, and still to this day my favourite band. And then because it's all kind of like a lead-off thing. Because you get into one band, and you're like, who did that band listen to? Because then I found Maiden, and I realised that they were into Purple and Lizzy and Zeppelin. So I was like, I wonder who else is. And then you hear Maiden, and they get mentioned in the same breath as other bands. And you got Saxon, Praying Mantis, and Tigers. So you go in that direction. And who else did Metallica like? And you get Slayer and Anthrax and shit.
Falling down the rabbit holes.
Yeah, and it just, but like at that time it's pre-internet.
Yeah.
So there's really not many. There's not a loophole to fall down really, as there is now.
It was way more difficult. You needed to know.
Yeah.
And
it was a case of Kerrang. You bought Kerrang, and like we didn't have a massive amount of money when I was growing up, so money was limited. So you bought. When I bought albums, it was second-hand vinyl. And that's kind of where my love for vinyl came from, because that's what I first ever listened to it on. But that was because you could buy an album for £3 instead of paying like 15 quid for a CD as it was at the time. So there was a little second-hand record shop in Dunfermline called Third Base, which is sadly no longer there. And he used to let us in 1 or 2 at a time at lunchtime from school because we'd thieve stuff. Not me, obviously. But yeah, that was like my second home, that place. I just, every weekend, I'd walk up there with whatever pocket money I'd been given and then get spent on vinyl.
Yeah.
Happy memories in that place. The owner fucking hated us too. He was just like, pick something and fuck off. Brilliant.
People now will never know the joy, or kids now will never know the joy of going into a record shop and just flicking through the stacks and finding stuff and picking up and looking at the cover and going, look at that. I bet that sounds...
just buying something purely for the cover.
I bet that sounds good just based on what you were looking at. I love that.
Actually, that's why I bought the Maiden tape.
Yeah.
Because it was in, not even W.H. Smith's, it was John Menzies, or John Mingus, however you pronounce it. And it was that flipping through the tapes, and that Eddie jumped out, and I was like, oh, I need that. And that's what it was. So it was the artwork.
Yeah. And that's sort of overlooked now, I think, really,
I can't. I can always been into drawing, so I think that's where the art side of it appreciated too. They made me appreciate it. The kind of metal art. There's not really another genre that does that in the way that metal does. Like the image on the front cover connects completely with the music.
So early hip hop, maybe, with the kind of graffiti, the New York.
Snoop Dogg, yeah.
No, I'm talking early hip
Before,
like 80s hip hop,
Sugar Hill Gang and shit. Yeah. But then even still, it's the quality of the art. Like if you look at like a Derek Riggs or Jim Fitzpatrick, or even go back to Roger Dean, Rodney Matthews, all those guys, like that's fucking incredible. The work they did and the time skill they had to do it in as well, to just knock up these incredible oil paintings. Not even digital shit; it was fucking oil paintings.
Yeah.
In a week, mental. So yeah, that kind of definitely what you were saying, going through the vinyl, and it would be like just whatever jumped out artwork wise. Yeah. You might get an absolute stinker, but you might get lucky. But yeah, it was not like it was now, where you can just your fucking phone will tell you what to listen to next. You had to figure it out yourself.
Yeah.
You'd have friends taping shit for you, and yeah, taping stuff off the radio, listening to rock shows, staying up late to find out what was what. But my kind of range of bands growing up was not that big, because I knew if I bought a Maiden record, I would like it. So I was like, I don't want to waste this £10 pocket money I've got, because that's me for like another 3 weeks. So I need to make sure I like it. And if you didn't like it, you can listen to it until you did like it, because you didn't want to waste the money. That's how you got into stuff more, because like people now, you don't spend the same time with an album now.
No, everything's
that you would have then.
With the advent of streaming and stuff, nobody really gives. We're kind of a dying breed of people who will actually sit down and listen to an album. I think maybe that'll change at some point, but I don't think people now really do that hugely, unless you're like an actual big album, But it's generally older people, I think, that do that now.
I think it's not that there's a kind of a good crop of younger people that are just buying tapes and vinyl now,
but they're not
because they've got.
It's not the mainstream as it used to be.
No, not at all.
We'll get into this later, but the youngins who are buying tapes and vinyl now, I have noticed that they haven't got a sodding clue what they're doing.
In terms of how they're well, neither did I when I was first buying vinyl, because I never had a turntable. I had like a hi-fi stereo. It would have been like, it was red, I can remember it. I didn't even think I had a brand. It was a piece of shit. Probably wrecked all the records, but I did not give a fuck at the time. I didn't know about it.
The music centre.
Yeah.
Tape deck, vinyl, radio, all that shit built in.
Yep. Twin tape decks, so I could tape the radio.
Yeah.
I don't think it even had a CD player, actually. No, it didn't have a CD player. I'll tell you that. I had no CD player at that time.
I didn't get
I was in exactly the same boat, Steve, but we'll save that for later on the podcast.
We're all of the same age, so the technology was the same for all of us,
Mm-hmm. And I don't want to be in like a cool kind of, it was better in those days. It was, but I don't want to be like that. But it kind of was.
It was more imaginative in those days.
You really had to work.
We had to innovate to get what we wanted.
Yeah, and you had to work at an album. Like I think just spending the time to sit down and listen to it. If you didn't get it first time, you just kept going back at it. Yeah. Like people don't have that now. And that's how you get a favourite band or a favourite album.
You listen
sometimes
in depth, it was picking things.
Headphones on, lights off, and you had no other distractions as well. That was the time you weren't like checking your phone every 5 minutes while you were listening to it. It was just that.
Because we had it in such low fidelity with shitey stereos and scratch vinyl, worn out cassettes, etc. We learned to appreciate it in crap quality, so therefore we knew what to appreciate.
Yeah.
Nobody ever said back in the day that like It doesn't like the definition was bad on anything because everything sounded a bit raw, you know, because you heard it on the radio, which was like AM most of the time and shit like that, or you know, you heard it on like a Walkman or something, or you know, like some shit stereo. It was just that was what music sounded like.
Yeah, there was no kind of like. I'm sure there were people who had like really shit hot stereo systems, but nobody else.
No, it wasn't. Certainly wasn't the norm.
No, I certainly did have a shaky one.
Yeah, we all did. We all did. And then CD players came in and we had shitey CD players because no one could afford, because the good ones were fucking expensive.
Thanks to the magic of editing, I think everybody's now just rotated round the board here. This might be a bit edited tonight, but I'm sure everybody will get used to it. And it will just change your visuals, so make it a little bit more interesting to look at if everybody moves.
Change is as good as the rest.
Musical chairs is a pretty good pun for this at this point in time.
We are all in chairs.
So Steve was telling us about getting into vinyl and stuff. So how did any particular albums that kind of took you down the metal path particularly and then got you into like playing the guitar and like playing music and stuff?
I think one of the things that kind of, I don't know if you guys have ever done this or not, but like, again, because of not having massive amounts of money and not being able to just go and buy a shit ton of records, the library had a music section.
Yeah.
Just go out. So you go into the library and just grab tapes and vinyl as well, and then go home and tape it, take it back. That's how you find new stuff.
I remember that.
Yeah, I can remember one of the first ones I got was the Rocky IV soundtrack.
Amazing.
Hey,
By the way. Oh yeah, man. But there's like Survivor on there and all kinds of great shit on there. I can remember getting a real live one, Maiden, on tape and recording that and listening to that in the dark on a Walkman and thinking the song Fear of the Dark was about being scared of a dog because I couldn't figure out what the words were. Fear of the dog. Yeah. And so that, I God, I fucking wore that tape out, man. Because again, it's all you've got.
Yeah.
So that and No Prayer for the Dying, which are not Maiden's best by any stretch of the imagination. And then sort of started going back. When I started getting into it, I kind of went backwards. And, you know, you figure out there's a different singer and you're like, who the fuck's this guy? And I think this would have been like 93. So my timing was really shit because Bruce had just left when I got into Maiden. And a mate gave me the Raising Hell video, the one they did with Simon Drake, the Illusionist.
Yeah.
Watching that was cool. I had a massive Raising Hell poster on my wall, like fucking huge. And you were just like, buying Kerrang and just like, we didn't even have posters, like literally cutting out pictures of Maiden from Kerrang and blue tacking them to the wall, like out the article, just cutting out the pictures. I'm doing that with lots of bands as well, not just Maiden, mostly Maiden. I can remember Saxon had like a greatest hits album out. It had like a blue cover with Saxon logo in yellow and orange, and like some sort of statue of the Saxon eagle on it. Probably not like a great compilation, but it had pretty much everything you would need to get into them on it.
Can I add in something here about Raising Hell?
Yes.
I wonder if Marty Friedman and Jason Becker ever got any royalties from that.
I was in it, did the incidental music. Was in it,
yeah. They used some of Cacophony's music for the cutscenes.
It's actually a good gig. That it was weird because it'd been Bruce's last one, and you know like what their backstory was, and everyone kind of hated him at that point. And it's interesting from a historical point of view. What's that?
It was pay-per-view when it was
pay-per-view. That's right. Yeah, pay-per-view.
I don't know had such a thing where I lived.
No, neither did we. Never had Sky or anything. But those kind of not specific albums because it was just. But I can definitely remember listening to those two a lot. I think where I listened to a lot of music was going on holidays with mum and dad. and we would like
Everything.
couldn't afford foreign holidays, so it was just basically going on to like campsites in Scotland, even not even in the UK, just Scotland.
Those long drives, changing tapes in the car.
Yep, exactly that. And still to this day, when I like, there's albums from that time that I listen to, and I put it on, I'm straight back in the car, like instantly. It's like you get transported back. Seventh Son and Somewhere in Time, I had on one on each side, and that would just.
Did you ever get the arguments about what was getting played and stuff? You know.
No, well, no, because it was all my Walkman. I was just sitting back with the Walkman on. I didn't want to. Nobody was tolerating me in my car. Wasn't happening. So yeah, that was me just in my own little world, headphones on, and even going on like a walk, because that was like the thing. You go get pitched up at the tent, mum and dad would get the beers out, and then you used to go for a walk, like a fucking massive walk. So you put the headphones on, and that was it. So
yeah, that was a weird thing. Like I kind of did this all the same shit as a kid. So like, just those like probably wouldn't happen now. Where you as a kid, you were just like walking randomly through the countryside.
Yeah,
like, on your own, listening to music. Nobody would.
I still like doing that. I still would do that though.
Yeah, totally. Same.
And it instantly takes you back. And it's a really good way of like focusing on the music that you're listening to, because there's literally no distractions. There's just whatever's around you.
You'd like climb a hill and just like sit and look out and sit and play your tunes or whatever, And
I think it helps you associate like a visual with the music as well. So like wherever you're in the car, like beautiful Scottish countryside then becomes synonymous with a particular album.
Yeah.
Yes. So when you listen to it, it's like music's got that, like there's certain albums that whenever I listen to it, I'll go back to a certain, it's usually when there's something significant going on in your life, I guess, but it'll take you back to that time, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, but it'll take you back anyway, whether you like it or not.
But when you revisit a location that you've been to, but it's not in your locality, so you don't go there very often. And you remember the first time you went there and there was some music playing in the background while it was in, your dad's car or your own car or whatever, or you have your Walkman on. And when you arrive at that location, you get that piece of music pop into your head.
Yeah, totally.
Happens to me.
Judas Priest Metalworks on one side, Def Leppard Paramania on the other side, a car boot sale in Falkirk was the location. No, an indoor market, not a car boot sale, an indoor market. It's been weird, man, but music does that.
I was probably there at the same time.
Yeah, probably, yeah. Doing the same exact thing.
Yeah. Spooky, yeah.
So yeah, though I can still remember Number of the Beast on one side and Made in Japan by Purple on the other side.
Because you could fit an album on one side of a tape because they were the right length.
Yep. Sometimes you need to put an extra couple of songs on the other end as well.
Yeah, pad out a bit.
The good old C90, between albums and them, we're about 40
CDs
minutes, etc. And you could just put the entire album plus one track on one side and then do exactly the same on the other.
CDs ruined that when they started bringing out like the 70-minute albums and stuff, and you were left with like an album and a bit of an album on the other side, and then you had to like fill up with some other shite.
Yeah. And like compilation tapes as well, like people I knew would make compilation tapes for me, and that's how you get into kind of new stuff as well.
Yeah, that's one thing that's never really changed, I think, is like the word of mouth thing for discovering new music.
I think just the way it's done is different. You'll send someone a link from Bandcamp or Spotify or YouTube.
Yeah. We do it all the time. We're always sending each other, like, listen to this. Discovered this new thing. How about play that? And it's usually good.
It just took much more effort to do it then. Like the effort to sit and record something off the radio. Remember, like Radio 1 had the rock show and they'd broadcast live gigs.
Sitting there poised, ready to record something when they said that, like something you were going to like, whatever,
Yeah. So you just get the tail end of the DJ's voice. But I can remember like recording, like Maiden played the Barrowlands and I was just too young to go. But I can remember recording it off Radio 1 and Donington 95, I think I can remember recording that as well. And like bootleg tapes, that little record shop I used to go to, they do bootleg tapes as well.
Yeah.
I remember like a Machine Head bootleg tape I listened to for a bit. And that was an Oban, incidentally. I can remember that too. Not rocking about Oban listening to Machine Head. And it was again shit quality because it was a bootleg. But Aye, all that kind of stuff. Just, I think we were lucky in that sense. That's probably why we are the way we are.
Yeah.
About music, because we just had that.
We
it was just harder to get into it.
I think we kind of caught almost the perfect wave, because it had become like pop culture music had become dominant by the point we kind of arrived on the scene in the 80s. So like, you know, the 50s and 60s and 70s and stuff, you know, like in the 50s it was teenage rebellion, and you know, it was an emerging thing, the teenager pop music, all that kind of stuff, rock and roll through the 60s, getting into the kind of, you know, the split off a bit in the 70s and stuff. But then by the 80s, people just accepted it was just a thing, and there was like a mass thriving industry. It was still really, it was probably the biggest it ever got, really, because it kind of died out about 10 years later. So we probably hit it almost at exactly the right point, that we had the maximum exposure to everything that was coming through in mainstream anyway, because everything was in the mainstream at that point still.
Yeah, totally. Every TV show you turned on, there was a reference to it, or there was somebody appearing on the show that was a pop star or whatever. Yeah.
So we'll move it on a wee bit then. How did you get into playing the guitar, I suppose?
Can you remember? I don't actually know what specifically. I can remember like doing the old tennis racket in front of the mirror thing to Saxon and Maiden. And my dad had an old acoustic guitar in the house that was breaking the law. I think, yeah, it was like that. I think it had maybe one or two. I can remember trying to make a guitar before I got one. I can remember, this can't be that fucking hard. How hard can it be? It was a V. I'd sawed a V shape out of it. I'd spray painted it silver sparkle.
Of course, it was a V.
Yeah. So I had the V, but I was like, I don't know where to go now. But I think I've made the neck. I was like, how do you get strings? How do you get the noise out of it? Fuck that. Yeah, I can remember. I think because I probably read Brian May did it. I was like, well, I can do that. But I don't have a degree in astrophysics. I'm not a particularly intelligent person, so couldn't figure that out myself. But something about guitar just twigged. I don't know why. Like not drums, not bass, not singing. It was just always the guitar just kind of struck me. And I don't know why. First guitar I got was an Encore, and it was black.
Ooh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'll share your pain.
Black with a single pickup, and it came with a headphone amp with foam headphones, and I got a video by some dude with a Brown Jackson telling you how to play E chords.
Yeah.
£75 the Argos catalogue.
It was at the Argos catalogue, yeah.
I remember it.
Yeah. Yeah, because at the time there was two. There was the plain black one, and they had another one that had a picture of the devil, like an airbrushed devil on it, and it was like 20 quid more. Couldn't spring for that one. So we got the black one, and I can remember getting neon green tape and Eddie in it.
Oh yeah.
But I didn't realise that Eddie had put the tape on and then painted it and then took the tape off. So mine just had tape on it, just had neon green tape on it.
There was a lot of guitars with tape around that kind of time. Yeah. I know a lot of guys did that.
Nobody realised Eddie took the tape off. It was the paint. Because that would have required taking the strings off, and we didn't really know how to do that, or how to put them back on again. So tape it was.
So did you kind of gravitate towards playing metal straight away, or did that come later? Did you kind of like go through
straight away? It was guitar because of metal.
Right.
Definitely. And then you go through the thing of like buying Total Guitar, because again you couldn't get tabs online, so you buy Total Guitar magazine and learn how to play Shadows songs.
Yeah.
Because you learn to play anything that was in there. I think the first songs I learned was probably Apache, and I think White Room was another one that was in that issue of Total Guitar. And it was the 90s, so there was a lot of kind of indie pop shit in there as well. But you just learned it because...
I still have a small stack of Total Guitars like right behind me from that year that I've kept. I got a lot of them, but I've kept a few just for prosperity.
They were a good way of discovering new music as well, because when you got
a CD on the front,
the first few tracks would be new songs from CDs, from new bands.
I'd even
that's how I discovered the Wild Hearts.
yeah. I'd even read, like, the news and Total Guitar and stuff, and like try and find things about the bands I just read about to see what they sounded like, just to try and find some kind of information on them. It was a good way of finding new stuff. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I discovered a lot of bands through them. Like I said, the Wild Hearts, Janice Stark, Michelangelo Battio. I've never heard of him until Total Guitar Magazine arrived, and was one of his.
Well, he was in the news today talking about an audition for Ozzy at some point back in the day.
Oh, join the queue, mate.
Yeah, or like he got offered an audition but never took it, I think was what it said. Something like that. I glanced by it as I was scrolling through the phone. But
slow news day.
Michael, which hand are you going to play guitar with today?
Both.
I couldn't see that. I couldn't see that working. I've heard Nitro,
Yeah, that's a weird thing. That playing with both
He's
hands.
an impressive man on the guitar, but the songs, not my cup of tea.
Well, these guys very rarely write great songs, do they? It's more about the athletics and guitar athletics.
Yeah.
Never really appealed to me.
Vocal athletics as well, when you consider his vocal range.
Yeah. It takes a special kind of guy to be able to like shred to that degree and to be able to write songs. Yeah, there's not many of them.
There's really not.
Super like the Bumblebee shredder guys who could write a song. That's a rarity.
He's even like Zach's shreddy, but he's not that shreddy. He's still a bluesy country guy.
And he never started off as shreddy as he became.
Nah.
The first couple of Aussie records and Pride and Glory and even the first couple of Black Labels, they weren't like super shreddy. That came a bit later for Zach, Vinny could do the Bumblebee and write songs, but
What songs about being a pie?
But we have to slide a Vinnie Vincent into every podcast, I think.
Aye.
So yeah, and then it just kind of snowballed from there, and I got a Strat. The Strat that I've still got off a mate, and that was like a proper guitar, and that got me off. Again, then you buy guitar tab books, which you had to spend money on to buy.
Yeah,
and they weren't cheap either.
Oh no, they fucking weren't cheap. And you had to go to an actual shop to buy them, an actual music shop, of which there were several.
I've still got a couple here. In fact, there's a couple right beside me.
Yeah, I've still got mine.
And occasionally look at them and then think, oh, I can't be bothered reading these now. And then I'll just like play by ear now.
I think what I did was I learned a bunch of songs. I had a Thin Lizzy one, I had two Maiden ones, and a couple of other ones, and I learned a lot of them note for note. And that basically taught me how to play guitar. I had no concept of theory, or I didn't know scales. I just knew, right, Maiden do it this way. So, and it's in the same. I didn't know what a key was. It's the same chords, so I guess that's what I'll do, and I just kind of winged it for years. And that was kind of me. But then I stopped playing guitar, like really in about probably like 98, 99, and I didn't touch it again for years, like probably 10 years of not playing, just because like life happened and you buy houses and you get married and you have kids, and it kind of went by the wayside, and I didn't pick it up again until the divorce happened. And I went, I'll pick up this fucking bit of wood again and we'll see how it goes. And then I kind of had to relearn, but by that point, YouTube was there.
Yeah. YouTube's been a massive game changer for learning how to play guitar, I think.
Massively, yeah.
It's so
it helped that I had that foundation first, and I was like, right, okay, I know what I'm doing, but I just need this little refresher. How to play this song. But
we struggled through the lean years of no information. So by the time it came round, we could all play, kind of,
Yeah.
I feel with YouTube, I think it's pushed the frontiers again. It's brought back a form of virtuosity into guitar playing.
Yeah, definitely.
Because, when I was about between the ages of, I'd say 15 and 21, there wasn't that many guitar players around my age doing what I did and what I aspired to be.
It wasn't cool.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there was the thing that cool. it wasn't cool either. I mean, the closest you got to any form of technical fluency on your instrument was somebody trying to imitate Tom Morello. There was no real fans of the likes of Zakk Wylde in that time. Everybody was, one finger power chord and trying to make noise, like a factory instrument, going wee, but with a whammy pedal, etc. Now since YouTube's come in, more and more people are tuning in. Well, have been for a decade now.
Again, that's just
more players and picking it up.
It's just the exposure you get at the time. The reason people were into all that kind of the new metal-y verging on industrial stuff is because that was all you could hear. That was all that was about. And now that the kind of doors have been opened to more stuff, more people are discovering new things.
I think back then, like when you're talking, so Richie, that probably would have been like late 90s.
Yeah.
There really wasn't an internet at that point, so we were guided completely by what the magazines told us.
Yeah.
So these bands were about. There was metal bands in Europe in the 90s. There was fucking tons of them. Kerrang report it.
There was a heavy metal. There was a rock and metal community for guitar players online, but it was very, very embryonic, shall we say.
Yeah, I mean, like the internet never really became an everyday thing for everybody until way later. You kind of forget like how new it is, really.
Yeah.
I mean, you could get tabs for songs in the mid 1990s. I remember getting them no bother at all through websites like Olga, the online guitar.
Oh yeah, Olga, yeah.
Actually, you mentioned this a little while ago, and I did at the time that I couldn't remember it, and yet the penny dropped a wee bit later, and I was like, oh shit, yeah. So there was that, like, you would print off those white pages, and somebody done the dashes with the numbers and shit.
It was all done in Microsoft Notepad.
Yeah.
And uploaded in text format.
I'd totally forgotten about it, and then it all came back to me, and I remembered it. So yeah, I did do that as well.
What you need for stuff doing like that is you need, well, a lot of patience and a guy who knows a little bit about IT coding, like me.
Quite often the guys have put up the wrong tab, so you learn it the wrong way as well.
Yeah, there was a lot of that. There was a lot of tabs that I would get, because back in them days, the internet was dial-up and you had to pay, 25p per minute and stuff like that, so you were quick.
Yeah, well then if your mum phoned your gran, you were fucked.
Exactly. So you get on, you download it right away, you print it off, disconnect from the internet, and then you take it to your room with the guitar, try and learn, and then realise that it sounded absolutely fuck all like the record because they hadn't put on that. Well, they'd either done it wrong or they hadn't stated that it was in a different tuning or something along those lines. Then you have to go and figure it out for yourself.
And then, you didn't, and you learned how to write songs.
We'll finish Steve off here. There you go. I threw that one up, waiting for somebody to hit it. So when we kind of got to you picked up the guitar and started learning and shit, was there any particular things that were the your kind of learning Bibles for what was it that the stuff? Was it the Maiden and the Lizzie books and things? Was that the thing?
That taught me how to play, really. Because even watching guitar players, it didn't make, because I used to I had the Queen video that I'd taped on the telly. I had Made in England on video, which is a Maiden concert video at Birmingham NEC. Again, I wore that out. I had Live at Donington 92. I wore that out. And I don't remember, there was a TV show, would have gone BBC Two, really late night. I had Tony Slattery presenting it. And it was gigs. There was a Saxon one. I think it would have been I think it might have been the Crusader tour. No, probably later. Rock the Nations or something like that. So a concert video of them playing in Spain. And again, just wore that out completely. But it didn't really make sense, because you couldn't pause it and zoom in. So what they were doing didn't make any sense to me. So it was just literally hours spent figuring out what the little tabs meant. I couldn't read music, so it was just tabs. So those, and then Total Guitar, you'd buy that every month.
Yeah.
and there'd be like if it would be like a Hendrix song in there, and you would just work your way all through that, and that would take ages, and then that would just teach you how to play in your own kind of way. I think that's what it was, because you would then, because that was the only thing you had was that Hendrix song. So you'd be like, right, what other things can I play that kind of are a bit like that?
I think were we all self-taught? Did anybody have like proper lessons?
Never had a guitar lesson.
Yeah, I had guitar lessons.
Was that at the beginning?
For the first couple of years, I had guitar. I mean, I'm mostly self-taught, but I went to guitar teachers just to learn discipline and
but like this is what I'm kind of
learn techniques that I couldn't teach myself.
We all started just teaching ourselves, though. We didn't you weren't given a guitar and sent to a teacher and told like you're going to learn how to play the guitar.
No.
Yeah,
not at all.
No, just getting the wheelhouse here, so we're all in the same kind of boat there with that stuff.
Yeah, no, never had a lesson ever.
I have. I had a couple of lessons. It was good. I would. It's something I'd actually like to do again, but maybe further down the line. I found it was a great way to get out of a rut, was to sit down and have like a structured lesson with somebody. When I was like particularly thinking, I was just playing the same stuff, and it was somebody new coming in with like, we tried this, you thought about that. Because I got lessons way later down the line. Like I'd been playing for years when I got lessons, and it was, I didn't do a huge amount of them because the guy ended up giving up the job. But we were quite pally, and we kind of continued on a wee bit just as jams in his house. But it definitely helped, I think, when you're stuck in a rut.
I think there's more to be said for being self-taught, though, to be honest.
Well, yeah, it gave certainly me my own unique way of playing.
Yeah.
Which is wrong, technically, probably, but it works for me sometimes.
Totally, because you just figure out your own way to do it.
I went to a few guys, of different styles, other guitar players, not necessarily registered teachers, but just other guitar players I willing to offer a hand, just to try and pick up what I could. Guys who played in Beatles covers bands and classical teachers and things like that, just to try and
you learn
turn me hand something different.
Cool.
I think the good thing about being self-taught is you just I can't think of any of my favourite guitar players that were taught by anybody else. They're all self-taught. Everyone I love is self-taught.
Pretty much all of them, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it sort of speaks to, certainly in the guitar world, and you kind of touched upon it there, and we'll lead this in, I suppose, to, I'll give you my wee backstory here, but the guitar is one of those things, I think, as a guitar player, you become infatuated by it, and the people who develop that obsession are the people who then go on to pursue it, I think, as opposed to any other way. If you're just made to do it, I don't think you're going to have that same passion for it.
No.
Like, I mean, I can legitimately say I have bought guitars and taken them home and just sat and looked at them, because I was like, you become obsessed with these things. You like sit in the corner of the room when you're doing something else so you can see it and just stare at it for a bit. It's like, and it sounds mad to anybody else, but to guitar players, most of them understand that because they've been through it themselves.
I think as well as when you get especially when you've got a guitar that you've had for a long time and you've broken it in, like just sitting with that guitar is like an extension of your arm.
Yeah.
And it's like, for me to sit on the couch, if I've not got a guitar on my knee, it feels weird.
Yeah, I've always got like a guitar in arm's reach.
Do you ever, if you're away from it, even though you're not playing it, if you're away from it and you know that it's not there, do you ever get a form of DT?
Withdrawal. Yeah, that's why I don't like going on holidays.
A bass beside me as well.
Yeah. I'll do. If I'm not, even if, regardless of whether I'm going to play it or not, if I'm not near one of my guitars, I get.
Like a 2-week holiday would be a nightmare for me.
Oh yeah, it's like the first thing I'd ever do when I come back from my holidays is pick up a guitar when I come into the house, without fail. If I've been away for any length of time, I will come home, and if I've not been able to take a guitar with me, and I've seriously considered taking them like abroad in the suitcase. I've got the Steinberger here, man. I'm fairly sure I could fit this in a suitcase with a bit of jiggery pokery. One day I'll do it. Sit by the pool and just strum away. I'll fill in my own. Oh man! Thanks to the magic of editing, we've probably moved positions again, and we've all gained hats as well. It's like magic.
We're no longer members.
So, right, well, I'll kind of give you my wee spaff here about how I kind of started out. It's going to be quite similar to Steve's because we're of the same age and from the same area, and our lives seemingly were very identical, which is probably why we both had guitar in the same band. So when I was a kid, my dad, particularly massive music fan. He's a big record collector, so he had like the wall of vinyl when I was a kid. You know, he just collected everything from like modern pop music from like his childhood onwards, from like the 50s and 60s. So we kind of grew up with in the house to be a lot of like 50s music. So there'd be Roy Orbison was played a lot, Cliff and the Shadows, all that kind of shit. Huge Beatles house. There was like shrines to the Beatles, so we got all of that. He was a big Queen fan, so again we got a lot of Queen, which is probably where some of the kind of more metal-y kind of tendencies kind of started off.
Big gateway band, Queen, like.
Yeah, totally. Because I mean, they covered a lot of ground. There was a lot heavier stuff in there, and you know, progressive stuff, and it's a good way to kind of open people up to kind of slightly more unusual music, I think. But they had great pop sensibilities as well, so they're easy.
Yeah, they suck you in with "I Want to Break Free" and then hit you with "Stone Cold Crazy."
What else did we get? Glam, 70s glam stuff, The Sweet, Mott the Hoople, Bowie, T-Rex, Slade. Slade Alive, I remember hearing like a million times. Slade Live, even, you know, the live album. The Slade Live album, I can recall hearing that just millions of times as a kid. I still know that album inside out. Same with like the kind of Beatlesy shit. My mum was a big music fan as well, so she tended to listen to a lot of Clapton, which again I just became a massive fan of. She liked Cream and kind of like Clapton solo stuff. So again, he was huge in the 80s, so we got a lot of that because it was still he was on the radio. Clapton was on the radio back then. You know, it was like you'd turn it on and you'd hear like Bad Love or something like that, which had riffs and solos, and so it was a good way of kind of picking your ears up. Peter Gabriel, a lot of that, a lot of Genesis and Phil Collins, who was really popular at the time. Bryan Adams, my dad was a big fan of, so again, and I kind of started on a lot of that shit. But we had the same kind of thing with the entertainment centre, and he would quite often, like, if he went record shopping in like the local record shops, whatever, he would sometimes take me or my brother along. He would like get us like a 7-inch single or something.
Yeah, I did that with my kids when I was long ago.
Yeah, so I vividly remember again all kinds of stuff. Like later on, weirdly, and this is going to kind of tie a wee bit in to kind of the guitar, kind of how that kind of came about. I remember getting the 7-inch single for Kiss, "God Gave Rock and Roll to You," from because it was the soundtrack, the Bill and Ted Bogus Journey. Yeah. So the CD, the vinyl, the 7-inch had Bill and Ted on the cover, and so you know, big fan at the time of that. So I got that and sat and listened to that, and I'd go to like primary school with like my Walkman. You know, just a little cheap Walkman with headphones.
On the bus, totally.
Yeah, my school bag, I would always have like half a dozen tapes, which is a thing I still do now at work, is I'll take like a bag of CDs with me and I'll just sit and listen to like a bunch of different shit. And that kind of started for me as a kid, where I was the weird kid in school who had two things I always had was a baseball cap, because I was bald at the time, and I always had a baseball cap on, and I always had my Walkman with me, and I can vividly remember listening to stuff like Sergeant Pepper's album, particularly, I had that on cassette, and I played that inside and out. I know, again, every note on that album. Some Clapton Live stuff I had, played the absolute shit out of that. So that just that kind of, and I would make like compilations of stuff, like just pick out my dad's record collection and tape stuff. I'd find new thing, anything I'd heard him play or whatever, or my mum, I would just sit and record them and sit and listen in school when I was going to and from school. It was like, or when I got home, I'd play tunes. So I was always playing music of some description. The guitar for me, weirdly, didn't come until a little bit later. So it kind of ties in a wee bit here. We had a records shop in Falkirk called Sleeves, which was it was this kind of small independent store. Mm-hmm. And I was always listening to rock music, and kind of some pop stuff as well, but there was a lot of guitar based stuff. And yet weirdly I didn't actually pick up the guitar until like quite later on as a teenager.
How so old?
I was still in high school when I kind of started it, but I didn't really take it seriously, I don't think, until I'd kind of left at like 17.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah. So I was kind of later on. But I'd kind of tinkered about with guitars, but like I got into, I was doing like club DJing and stuff with like techno and things, weirdly. So my record shopping was split into two things. I would go and get like records for DJing with, and I'd also find like rock music that I would listen to when I wasn't doing that, which was kind of bizarre. And I knew the guys in the record shop, so they would like recommend me things and stuff, which was a good gateway for just finding new things. They would tell me, oh, you'll like this, try, have you tried listening to this album? And I do the record flick in and pull things out and buy them on the covers. So our stories are very parallel here, I think. There's a definite kind of link there.
I guess that's probably the age that we're at.
Yeah.
I imagine Richie's have been pretty similar.
Not far off.
Did you have the thing where like you were the only kid at school that liked the kind of shit we like?
I've always had a strange taste for my age, I think. I liked a lot of the same stuff as my pals, but certainly, again, as I grew older and I got more into the guitar, I would definitely listen to stuff that they would not like, that wasn't popular. I discovered Van Halen at some point. That changed my life. That was just like, because from like when I started playing the guitar, I got in through more kind of indie based stuff, I suppose, because it was the 90s. Yeah. Early 90s and late 80s and stuff. So
we all did.
Yeah. But I make no bones about it. I still think John Squire is one of my favourite guitar players from the Stone Roses.
I remember it wasn't I didn't hit the first Stone Roses album. It was more the second one, because it was more of a Zeppelin-y kind of thing, and the band he did, the Seahorses.
Yeah, so I got all of that. I still play them. I love listening to like John do his kind of Zepp Page type stuff. He's so good at it, and he's really underrated as a lead guitar player. That man can. I mean, he shreds. He's a shredder.
Great player.
Yeah, so I kind of went in through that door, and I was listening to a lot of the Jam. I got into the Jam at some point, and then that kind of moved into Paul Weller's solo stuff and the Style Council and things. So I can, weirdly enough, I kind of lost the thread of his career at some point, and just.
So did he.
He did, and I think that's what lost me. He had a wee kind of purple patch, and then it just kind of.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you in the song. We had, it was that kind of.
Stanley Road.
That kind of period.
It was, and it was good stuff. It was kind of solely R&B rock, which I am a fan of, still. But then, like, at some point, I discovered Van Halen. That was just mind blowing, because I'd never really heard anything like that, like guitar playing to that degree. And it was just, I can vividly remember the first time hearing Van Halen 1, which was the first. I mean, I'd obviously heard Jump and some of the singles and stuff, but I didn't really put it together in my mind as to what, who this guy was.
Yeah.
And then somebody gave me Van
Yeah,
Halen.
you heard it on the radio. Everyone had heard Jump.
Yeah.
And
But then, like, sitting down for the first time ever listening to Van Halen 1, and it just opening up, but you get Running with the Devil, and you're thinking, cool, that's a rock song. And then Eruption comes in. And you're like, I was just, what the fuck is this? Like, how's he making those noises? Is that a guitar? You know, it's kind of like, it was all that shit. So that just hooked me in, you know. And from that point, I wanted to learn how to do that kind of stuff on a guitar. So it took me down a kind of 80s rock kind of a rabbit hole, and I was really getting into that kind of thing. Like, I got, again, from Van Halen, I got David Lee Roth's Eat 'Em and Smile and Skyscraper albums. So then you get Steve Vai. From there, I discovered Passion and Warfare, and, you know, Joe Satriani, Surfing with the Alien. I was opening up the world of virtuoso guitar players, which from a kid who was listening to kind of indie rock, that was just insane, you know.
That was kind of a thing in the 90s as well, I think. Look, I had a similar thing. I can remember going to my mate's house. A mate, we used to both play guitar, and he had, his brother had Surfing with the Alien.
I think,
and I remember getting Passion Warfare at the library too.
Anybody our age who probably got into that kind of stuff probably got it from somebody's older brother somewhere who was like 10 years before us. So not my brother personally, but, you know,
somebody
other
else's,
So yeah, definitely. Yeah, me and my mate, his brother was in a band, and we ended up like listening to a lot of stuff through him. We discovered herbal substances that we became quite fond of. So, you know, from there we drifted into Zeppelin, and like, I remember me and my mate were both very big fans of Reef at the time, so we went to see them at the Badlands as well. That was a great show, and from that kind of that kind of took us into a more kind of 70s rock feel, because Reef were kind of a throwback 70s rock band anyway. They really were. They were like riffs and solos, and so that kind of fired us off into Zeppelin, and we'd already kind of tinkered with Hendrix and stuff. Having somebody who was like a pal at the time, learning guitar and discovering music together was a kind of interesting thing, because we would give each other things to play and listen to and stuff. It was that probably helped me a wee bit. Although we did quite quickly diverge in our tastes. As I was going more down the 80s stuff, he was heading off into like singer-songwriter acoustic land. So we went in heavy different directions at that point, and from the music. That was kind of that was teenage me, I suppose. Somebody throw me a bone here, I'm kind of drowning in thought.
Really similar. Like, you kind of brought up stuff that I can remember doing, because I had a mate in high school. He was learning to play guitar at the same time, and we would go around each other's houses. And mostly his, because his house was a bit bigger, and just jam.
Yeah.
And you did probably learn a lot. It were probably rubbish.
Yeah.
But you did learn a lot by doing that, definitely.
Oh yeah, like we formed our first band together with just guys from school and stuff. We played in one guy's garage.
Yeah.
We had tiny, horrible little amps and shitty guitars and stuff, but we just enjoyed making noise. And weirdly, like, me and him are the only two that kind of that bunch of guys who kind of continued to do anything musical beyond that. So shout out to my mate Fraser here. He moved to Australia. He still plays over there.
Yeah, very similar story.
Yeah.
It just occurred to me, we was talking about Reef being a 70s kind of rock band. It's an anagram of free.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
That was one of the stories that always kind
of, if that's deliberate,
went around at the time, was that people always said, yeah, it's an anagram of free, and you were kind of like, but it also something else. Which those gentlemen were also kind of fond of, I think, at the time as well.
Yeah. The guitar music that was around at the time was stuff like Reef, like Cooler Shaker we spoke about before, Open Colour Scene, Oasis, Stone Roses. It was stuff like that.
There was a lot of guitars around. I always gravitated more towards harder and faster guitar players, and in a way, but at the same time, I love like blues guys and stuff but they were always guys who took solos, you know.
Yeah.
So I kind of messed around with the guitar as a kind of kid and teenager. Just we had a guitar in the house. It wasn't very good. Again, it was a sort of encore type thing. I don't even think it had a brand name, and it was just a piece of shit. But I kind of learned how to pick it up and just roughly. I was kind of fingering out chords and stuff, and again, I probably couldn't play particularly well. But then at some point between that, my old man got another guitar, which again was just like, it was a Strat. I think it was a Squire Strat, not particularly great, but that was the point where I decided that I really wanted to play the guitar. Probably egged on a little bit by things like Bill and Ted was really popular.
Wayne's World.
Wayne's World. I remember seeing Bill and Ted actually, and just deciding the first Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure that I wanted to be a guitar player. I remember I had another friend, and that was in primary school, and we both decided after watching that we were going to be guitar players. Again, I'm the only one who actually ended up doing it, weirdly enough. But it's just, that kind of stuff just influenced you, because it was easier to fixate on stuff because there was less things.
There was less stuff around. Yeah, totally.
And then from the Squire Strat, which I kind of learned how to play chords and strum stuff, and just kind of get my hands around the wood. There we go. I learned basic stuff like everybody else did, and the moments that changed from that was buying the first guitar that I actually had, my first guitar. So not somebody else. I was just playing, and I got an Epiphone Les Paul, and it was like 200 and something. It was brand new at the time. I remember going to buy it. It was in the guitar store in Argyle Street in Glasgow, which was like Victor Morris, the upstairsy guitar thing, which I don't think's there anymore, as most of these shops aren't, sadly. But it was a tobacco sunburst, slightly darker sunbursty Les Paul, and I loved that guitar. I played it every day. It was, as soon as I came home from school or whatever, I'd pick it up and I had to play. And that kind of, I think making an investment in a guitar helped, because it prompted me to really put the work in, actually but at the same time I was obsessed with it. It wasn't just I'm going to force myself to do this. I was obsessed. I wanted to know. I was getting guitar magazines like Total Guitar and stuff. I was reading about guitars, looking at guitars, just always thinking about guitars. And then quite quickly after that, I can't remember exactly what point, I think I was about 18 or 19, I ended up getting PV Wolfgang, and that was that was an obsession thing, because I was such a big Van Halen fan. You would randomly just go to guitar shops and look at stuff. I don't know if anybody else did this, but you would go
to guitar shops and look at the notice board to look for a band.
Yeah. So
that's how you did it back in the day.
You hung around guitar shops. That was like kind of thing that we did. Like we had a local one which we would hang out in and try stuff, and just mess about with, meet people and things. And then at some point I ended up in McCormick's in Glasgow, which again, sadly no longer there, but that was a great shop. And they had this purple PV Wolfgang on the wall, and they had the little stand underneath it with the flyers, and in that, just in the flyer, was this picture of Eddie Van Halen standing next to a full 5150 stack from PV, and he was playing a Wolfgang, and it was I can remember this like it's yesterday. It was a cherry burst, but not like a sunburst, but like dark. I think it was called dark cherry burst. It was like a kind of purpley, reddy, blue, kind of dark cherry color burst on a Wolfgang, and he had so there's Ed standing there with the stripy red and black and white shoot like Converse, and the jeans and the guitar kind of hanging off, and the sunglasses and the 5150 stack, and I was like, oh, I need that guitar. You know? So like I went into that shop, and I'd have a like pick it up, and I would kind of play with it a little bit in the wee booth where you could go and try stuff out. And I just decided at some point I had to have this guitar. And I went in for months, like months and months and months, to the point where like the guys knew me. I'd come in and it would be kind of like, you want to play the Wolfgang again? You know? And so I'd started work by this point and decided that I was going to get some money and get that guitar. And that was the moment that I decided to think that I was going to, like, I wanted to do it seriously, where I was going to like go and write music and join a band and all that kind of stuff. Because up until that point, I was just messing around with guys, jamming and stuff, until I bought that guitar. So again, this was quite late on for a guitar player. I was about 18, so I'd started work just-ish, and I didn't really have a lot of money, and I went to the bank and got a bank loan. One of the most bizarre, probably foolish things you could do as a young fella. But I took a sizable loan out and walked into that shop. The minute the money was in my account, took it out of the bank, walked into the McCormick's and went, how much can I buy that for? And then we did a deal. And I got a little bit knocked off, and they'd already, because it had been in the shop for about a year, I think, and nobody had bought it. Because again, this was the 90s. Van Halen.
Nobody cared about a Van Halen guitar.
They weren't hugely popular. So I got a really good deal on that guitar, and they knocked a couple $100 off originally from the sale price, and then they knocked a little bit off for me to buy it. But the day I bought that guitar was the day that, again, everything changed. I took it home. I remember sitting on the train with that guitar coming home, and there being an old guy sat in the tables across from me, and he just asked me he said something like, "Oh, you got a guitar in the case," which is obvious because it's a guitar case, but he was clearly just fishing for me to get the guitar out. So I was like, "Yeah, I just bought this new guitar," and he was like, "Oh, can I have a look?" So opened the case up, and he was just like, "Oh, wow, it's really nice guitar," and then he kind of told me that he was a drummer in a jazz band from like back in the day, and this was an old dude. So he started rhyming off the kind of the kind of Gene Krupa kind of stuff, and like big band jazz and all this kind of thing. And I didn't really know very much about it at the time, but I was just fascinated that this guy had stories to tell me about like being a touring jazz drummer for like 60 years or something. He'd been doing it, and as like kind of the young obsessed burgeoning musician, I was just like, wow, like tell me more. Just hearing stories was fascinating. In the same way that we kind of got into these things from like people's older brothers, and they would tell you stuff about these bands that you were listening to, or let you hear stuff, and you were just kind of sitting there like wide-eyed and like, oh wow, and because it's all fresh, you don't know any of this stuff. It's just getting flung at you. I remember getting the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I think the first album I heard was probably Blood Sugar Sex Magic, but I'm also considering it might have been Mother's Milk first, actually, that I'd heard, because of somebody's older brother. And just, again, thinking this was cool. And then I heard the Uplift Mofo Party Plan as well. So it was kind of metal-y, and I wasn't really realising, I think, that this was metal. I don't think in my mind either I'd made the distinction. It was just guitar music, and I wanted to know all of it. Anything that had a guitar in it, I became obsessed with hearing, and then I would, as we got a bit later on, I would try and like find out things about like what guitars were they playing, what kind of amps were they playing. I needed to know details, which is something that's never really changed. I remember and getting the first time I heard the Wild Hearts as well. Actually, you mentioned them. The first, sitting in a guy's flat, and he was like, "I've got a record you'll like," and he put on Earth versus the Wild Hearts. And again, it was one of those moments where you just sat there and thought, "This is amazing. Where's this been all my life? I need more of this." So he gave me a copy of that, I think, on tape, and then I ended up getting the Fuck album, hearing Neat and Nitro. I remember that the first time I heard Neat and Nitro. That was the first thing I heard of that album by the Wild Hearts. And just thinking that was the coolest thing ever, because it was quite different to anything I'd heard, I think, at that point, because I had that kind of clunky punk
chuggy
and
guitars
stuff, and the Wild Hearts versed into metal, because I went from that into like the song Caprice, which is like almost Metallica in hindsight, like the riffs and that was a heavy riff.
Metallica meets the Beatles is the best description I've heard of them.
Yeah, you can hear like the influences well on their sleeve in the Wild Hearts. There's a huge amount.
Another band that had a bootleg tape of actually back in the 80s. Remember that? Playing that in the car.
Yeah, like with the record shop thing, going to it would have been like Europa Records in Stirling.
Yeah, you spent a lot of time in there.
And they had all the bootleg CDs and tapes and stuff. And man, I got so many of those, because again they were cheap, because bootlegs were not expensive. Like now there's a weird.
That's why I got them, because I couldn't afford the actual album.
And you could buy like maybe 3 for $5 or something if you were really like that kind of thing, and you could just pick stuff up. So it was a good way of getting it. Of course, the downside with bootlegs is you occasionally got some like horrible stinkery
shit.
It was all hiss and noise, and you could barely hear what was happening in the background.
Yeah, if you were lucky, you got a soundboard recording.
Yeah,
which even that was not great, because the vocals were super loud. But
like
it was better than the cassette recorder. That
ignited my love of live albums. I think I still now love live albums.
Yeah,
totally. Like tapes and vinyl was definitely the gateway for me. The fact that you could record your vinyl on a tape and then like
it was portable.
Yeah, it was a huge thing. I think I had everything on like vinyl and recorded tape. So
and you could listen in the house on vinyl and then take it out on your massive family walks.
I continued that throughout life. So like as the technology changed, I went from like taping stuff on my vinyl to taping stuff from my CDs to then recording things on a mini disc from CDs. And again, I had a huge collection of like blank recorded mini discs, which I would take out in the car and stuff, and then it's gone on to like MP3s, I suppose now. A lot of it. My phone.
Mini discs are back, man.
Oh man, I really hope they do. They're never going to sell enough for it to be become a proper thing again. But
they're back in the synthwave scene is big with mini discs.
I love mini discs.
They're still being manufactured.
Yeah,
the discs themselves are still being manufactured.
So are cassettes, but I mean, like, there's not enough people buying them to make a massive resurgence. I mean, they're not going to be. No physical media is ever going to make a huge return. I don't think that's just not going to happen.
I'm not going to get to where vinyl is.
No, but even then, it's just maybe. I mean, maybe it will. Maybe we'll have some cultural revolution that will get everybody really involved in music again. It happens from time to time, so it might happen again.
I can't see it happening mainstream-wise.
I don't think so, but I would like to be proven wrong.
Like in the genres, like within heavy metal, like synthwave, they seem to be the collector genres, and that's where you get the physical stuff. Like even like fucking 8 tracks. There's like trad metal bands doing 8 tracks now.
Wow.
And that's just that's nobody's got a fucking 8-track player except Richie. But yeah, mini discs were good. I can remember like having, like when I lived with my ex, we had XXX, but like a mini disc player. It was really good, and then you would record vinyl onto the mini disc, and it sounded great. And I had like a little Sony mini disc player, and it was brilliant. Yeah, really good quality. I never actually bought a new mini disc. I always recorded stuff onto a mini disc.
I remember having a particular girlfriend at the time, and I would go to her house with my mini disc player, and if she had any albums that I liked, I would record them at her house on a mini disc player and then take them home.
Totally.
So it was a good system. Right, we'll kind of. Oh man.
Yeah.
We'll kind of.
I only own 2 albums, pre-recorded albums on mini disc, but I've got a very good mini disc player and about 30 blanks. And this was one of them, Alice Cooper. and it sounds absolutely amazing.
They were great quality mini discs, like.
Yeah.
But I think they got fucked because of, just as they were taking off, iPods came out.
Yeah, it was just the wrong time for the tin. It was just slightly too late.
You mentioned Reef were like the poster boys for mini discs, remember?
Naked was the song that they used for the advert. I remember that, like it was, well, we were there.
It wasn't yesterday.
It was our era.
Then Apple came out and just went, nah, fuck it, we're taking all this shit over.
I think we're kind of reaching the end of my wee story here. I suppose from getting into the guitar, I then you fall again down that rabbit hole of just finding slightly heavier stuff and a bit more intricate guitar playing, and it really came down to a lot of the guitar playing. It was, you would discover some new band or an old band. In fact, like I remember having to order, because this was again pre-Amazon, so you couldn't just get something.
Were you a member of the CD club?
Britannia and stuff like that.
Britannia, yeah.
I was.
That's where I got Van Halen 1.
I also had to, I remember for a long time going into the Virgin Megastore and ordering CDs through their system. I remember this was called Elvis. I can't remember what it stood for, but their computer system was called Elvis. I would go in and I'd flick through all the things, and at this point I had stuff in my mind. I remember getting the entire Deep Purple, Burn and Stormbringer and Come Taste the Band and all those, and some live Tommy Bolin stuff and things. I got all of that through Virgin, where I would go in and say, have you got this? And they would just look at me blankly. And then
1985, what the fuck are you talking about?
Can we order this? So they would order me up. It would come in the wee cardboard box, and you would open it up, and you had to go into you got your little ticket, and you had to go back into the shop and hand over the ticket when you got the call that your thing had come in. And then you would go and pick up your album. It was, weird things that nobody does now. It's generally made me feel kind of old here.
Yeah, this whole thing has. That's a terrible idea.
Yeah, Zeppelin, Purple. I kind of started at the backwards and then went forward. So Sabbath, Zeppelin, Purple, and then and Van Halen, and then into 80s stuff, and then kind of the 90s stuff. I was really into it by the end as well, because you had Alice in Chains were a really heavy band for that kind of I tended to gravitate towards the heavier bands as it went along. Mm-hmm. Maybe always, I suppose it was always all my friends in high school and slightly after always thought that I listened to extreme music. It was always listen to that. That's a bit mental.
But their version of extreme was the Black Album.
Yeah. So you were kind of digging into Master of Puppets and Kill 'Em All and things, and Ride the Lightning, and the rest of your peer group was kind of they were settled on Load and the Black Album, that was Metallica for them, and I'm like, have you heard this? It's a bit. It always reminds me of the Back to the Future. Huey Lewis as the teacher when they audition the band, and he's sitting there and he's like, "You're just too darn loud." that was my friend group, I suppose. No offense, love them all still, but they were not following me down that particular hole.
Nobody at my school got me music-wise, not even close.
The outsider attitude is probably what brings a lot of people into that metal culture, I think. For the worst sometimes, because it's got us some absolute fucking nut jobs at the same time who've come into the metal world.
There's
been a few.
There's nut jobs in every.
Oh, that's it. But it definitely tends to be the outsider kind of mentality. We dress in black. We tend to be quite lonery people a lot of the time, and it's nature of the beast, mate.
Yeah, you gravitate towards it.
Right, we're going to take a short intermission, and then we're going to come back with Richie.
Sweet.
No problem.
Cool. Right, there's a couple of minutes here. I'm going to roll a quick smoke while this is up, because there's still 4 minutes of recording. This is recording fine, by the way. It's putting it in the different folders. So I'm just
That's
marking them as they're saving as part 1, part 2, and part 3, and we'll do the third part, and that'll finish it off, and you can bugger off, Richie, if you want.
No worries, lads. No worries.
What time are you up tomorrow?
6.
Oh, didn't envy. That was me last week, I think. I can't even remember now.
Just absolutely hating the job at the minute. Things are just turning to shit.
Oh, the novelty factor of going back to work is well worn off for me now. I just.
Well, there was none of that for me because I've worked through the whole thing with us being able to work from home. You know.
It's like everything's just so fucking monotonous now. It's like I go to work, I come home, I go to work, I come home, and there's no escape.
The thing that's hacking me off the most about this, Stu, is right. Okay, things are going to break, things are going to happen, and it's our job to fix it. That's not a problem. We're doing a lot more, shall we say, hand-holding these days. Folk who've done this before, they just phone up and say, I don't know if it's going to work or not. We'll get on with it. Let's see if it works. Now, despite all that, we're coping. And being in IT, there's always a backlog of incidents and software requests and blah, blah, blah. We had over 5,000 of those in our backlog at the start of this lockdown. We now have just over 500. And it's mostly my team which is taking care of it. Yet we're being pushed, do more, do more, do more. And we've worked our bloody bollocks off.
So what we're living, huh?
There's definitely been the work's been harder of late. There's just more stuff happening, more things breaking down because everything's working the things that are working at like double the speed that they previously were, and everything else has stopped. So there's like this weird juxtaposition. I'm doing twice as much as I was previously. Everybody else is out working because we're kind of filling up the gaps.
As said from the word go, if we send everybody to work from home, I think all the contentions will peak, and the infrastructure that we've got for this will not be able to cope. I said, I don't think we're really prepared for this. And lo and behold, when we're all sent to work from home, it didn't. Now, I'm not proclaiming I'm some kind of genius, but I did, suggest that maybe you should look into that. And they didn't.
Another edit. And the hats have gone. And I've run out of Coke, so I'm now having a Jack and Iron Brew because it was the only thing I had left in the fridge was a can of Iron Brew.
Iron Brew?
Yeah.
It looks really dark. It looks like Coke.
It's because it's in a blue glass.
Ah.
But if the Jack and Coke...
Jack and Iron Brew, what's that like?
It's quite nice.
Is it?
If the Jack and Coke is the Lemmy, this is the Mick Lemmy.
It's the Brian Robertson.
Yeah, the Robbo.
Yay, there you
go. Right, so we'll just kind of polish off me. You failed there. But yeah, that's pretty much most of my story. Again, kind of growing up through the new metal years. Whilst I listened to some of it at the time, I suppose I was always heading off in a more guitar-centric kind of a direction. So I was looking for stuff that was a bit more technical, just to feed my knowledge, which I craved.
You couldn't avoid a lot of the new metal stuff because it was just all. It was like by that point we had Sky, so it was MTV2, and that was the only heavy thing you were going to get, and it was mostly new metal. And
it was, scuzz and all that kind of stuff. So it just, and I liked a lot of kind of 90s alternative rock. I still do. So it wasn't a huge departure from it. You could see it was the logical progression for a lot of that stuff. It just got a wee bit more computery and techie, probably. That was kind of the
lowest common denominator of music, a lot of
it. Yeah.
A lot of the brains went out of it.
Yeah, I mean, from a kid like me who started off in Clapton and the Beatles and shit to end up in Limp Bizkit that's a hell of a departure, So I was obviously heading in a different direction, and
Against the grain, man.
Yeah, and here I am. So I went through a bunch of different bands. Started off in some kind of like metal bands. Then obviously kind of I was in a blues band for a little bit. Like it was a weird thing. Like somebody wanted to do kind of. They described it to me at the time as like Zappa stuff, but it wasn't really Zappa. You know, it was an unfocused mess. It's probably the best way to describe it. Then I went did Laser Fox, and then ended up in Tantrum, I suppose, with some kind of weird roundabout twists along the way.
Your career dive bombed at that point.
I've sold more records now than any other thing I was involved in, so that's a win. Right, well, from that point, I think we'll move on to Richie. So, give us your potty histories. Is it much different from ours, or is it kind of similar? Because you're a couple of years younger than us, aren't you?
Yeah.
And a bit further down the road, a bit further down the border.
It doesn't sound like a huge difference, but for teenage years, it's a big difference. But like 2 years, whatever, you know, that can be a big change in culture.
Yeah. We're all roughly about the same age, I think. 2 years. Stu at the top, me at the bottom, and you in the middle, Stu. You know.
Yeah.
So
it's not that much at the top. Fuck off.
No, I mean, me and Steve are pretty close in age. Only really between us.
Right. Fucking hell, where do I start?
Give like the childhood kind of thing. Like, what did you get? Like, were you exposed to much music as a kid? And
yeah. You know, I remember having day trips out in the car with my dad, and he used to listen in the car. He used to listen to Dire Straits.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we got a lot of that as well. I'd forgotten about them. Yeah, they were a big thing in our house.
It Bites. I used to hear them a lot in the car.
Oh wow.
Eclectic.
Yeah.
I can remember always seeing It Bites next to Iron Maiden in the rack, and I was flipping past It Bites to get to Iron Maiden.
Calling All the Heroes is a hell of a tune. I absolutely love it. I still do. Always did. Other bands I used to listen to was Toto, Boston. Turned into one of my favourite bands of all time.
We've said it before, but that first Boston album is just a masterclass.
Yeah, it is. I'm even wearing the t-shirt.
Have you played it yet, Steve? I fucking sent you that album. I hope you've played it.
I will. I promise I will.
It's
got
so
a lot
good.
of stuff to do.
So good.
Get it.
In fact, now
I've played it. I have listened to it before, but just not properly.
Now that we've mentioned it, I'm going to have to play it again after we've come off here.
I might listen to it again tomorrow for the millionth time. It's one of those classic albums that I don't get bored of, and I do get bored of albums.
Yeah, no, it totally is though.
Yeah. No, that was my dad. Now my mum and dad divorced when I was 4, and my mother ran off with another bloke and took me with her. And that was it. Rock music was verboten. You know, my mother used to. Back then, I used to, you know, be subjected to my mother's music, which was Tom Jones and Bananarama and Stockyard and Water.
Why did I just
Alan Partridge straight away? Bananarama.
No, I was just thinking fucking.
Banana bloody Rama.
I was thinking that was just pure Dennis from a Wiedersehen pet there.
Aye, Banana bloody Rama.
I'm talking classics, pet, like Creedence Clearwater Revival and Janis Joplin. We're doing a Wiedersehen pet references because it's awesome, and it's the closest I'm going to get to doing a proper Geordie accent.
You can't get enough of Wiedersehen pet. If I'm funny enough, for my next days off from work, I think I might just watch a few of them again.
We should.
So, things changed again. I mean, yeah, there was also my granddad's influence. Remember in podcast 2 when I pulled out that album of traditional Greek music?
Yeah.
My granddad introduced us to a lot of, you know, folk music from across Europe, which was, you know, a big influence on, you know, melodies that I enjoy hearing. And not only that, there's a Scottish connection. My granddad was a big fan of Big Country.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he was 60 by this point. He absolutely loved them.
Big Country were from where I kind of grew up in Dunfermline. I
Yeah,
went to school with Stuart Adamson's son. He was in my class.
Yeah, was that a big thing there? Because
It kind of like his son Callum. He didn't really kind of go on about it or anything. He wasn't like kind of a big.
yeah, my
And
bad.
by that point, it was kind of when I started school. It was in the '90s, so Big Country weren't really a thing. But Stuart owned a pub in the town, which I think probably one of my first gigs actually was probably in his pub.
Wow,
Um,
big up to Stuart Adamson. Sadly,
he was kind of a big deal. Like Dunfermline obviously had Nazareth as well,
and this
and you
the Skids from the same.
never really encountered them. But like there was a jam night at a pub in Dunfermline called Sinky's, which is next to the ballroom,
Mm-hmm.
which used to be a venue where like, the Clash and Maiden and stuff would play.
Oh wow.
But like you would always see Ian Agnew would always be in there, and Dan McCafferty, and me and a guy who was in a band with at the time, Steve, would just get pissed and fucking talk to them and annoy them, tell them stories about like Axl Rose and shit like that, and Aerosmith and whatnot. But that was really cool. But yeah, Big Country were kind of a big thing in Dunfermline, definitely. Yeah, definitely. I sadly missed.
At what point did you get kind of back into music again, then, Richie?
Well, the first game changer for me was definitely the year 1992. Not a great year in general because I just lost my granddad, and I was about to lose my grandmother from cancer in early 1993 on my mum's side. But towards the back end of the summer in 1992, my dad used to take me to all these motorbike rallies, and he had a bird at the time who had a son the same age as me, give or take a year. And not only was I exposed to watching all these, rock covers bands, well, my dad used to get pissed. Iron Maiden had just released Fear of the Dark at the time, and what was the lad's name again? My dad's son, Jonathan. He just got it on cassette, and I remember hearing Judas Be My Guide.
That's probably still my favourite song off that record.
Yeah.
And I've been quite critical of that album, but that's a great song.
Yeah, it really is.
Judas Be My Guide and Weekend Warrior. And he used to play the two tracks back to back, rewind the tape and play them again. He also introduced us to, other late 80s bands, early 90s bands. There was Ugly Kid Joe,
mm-hmm.
Mr. Big, who just had a massive hit at the time. Christ, Guns N' Roses.
That being on radio a lot.
Yeah,
Def Leppard.
Yeah, it's amazing how we are all of that same generation, and we got exposed to all these bands probably at the same time.
A lot of it was on radio though, like that Mr. Big song you're talking about. What was I'm the One That Wants to Be With You? I can't remember what it's called. Yeah, because it was really similar to the Extreme one, More Than Words, the acoustic ballad, and they were always on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I remember hearing Rush played on the radio.
The radio.
No,
the radio
this was like in the mid '90s. The first album big album I got into from Rush was Counterparts, and Nobody's Hero was played on the radio at the time because it was a single and it actually got airplay, which probably never happened again.
Yeah.
But that was a good exposure, and I remember watching all those covers bands and thinking, that's cool, I want to be in a band when I grow up and stuff like that, which for a 9-year-old kid is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
But back to living with my mother, it was rather strict, and even listening to Queen was verboten. I had a couple of Queen albums on tape when I was about 10, and it was just various compilations that I got. If I put them on, she'd come into my room and turn them off. So, like I said, rock music was, it was kind of banned for me. But a significant game changer was 1997. That was the 20th anniversary of punk.
Mm-hmm.
And AMI Records, I think it was, or Virgin Records, I can't remember what the label was, it brought out a double album called The Best Punk Album in the World Ever. Now, my mother's second husband thought that he was a punk rocker back in the day, so he bought it. And I was exposed to all these punk bands, and that was the game changer. Okay. I heard just, whoa, they're just thrashing it out. It's just raw, energetic. And around that same time, a couple of lads who I was at school with were playing guitar and drums in the music room at school. They weren't particularly great. I mean, it was 7 open chords kind of guy. They were playing Oasis and stuff like that, which I was never into, and I tried to get into and failed because I just can't grasp it. I remember walking in thinking, wow, this is cool. Yeah, and just remember, I want to be in a band when I'm older, blah, blah, blah. And I noticed I didn't have a bass player. So I asked my mum for a bass guitar for Christmas. And I got one after much mupping and moaning. Here's where things start to kick off. You're going to hate me for this. The first band that I really got into was Nirvana.
I mean, a gateway band for a lot of bands. I had a Nirvana bootleg, an acoustic Nirvana bootleg. It wasn't the MTV one, but it was the same basic set.
You couldn't.
I can remember that a lot, yeah.
They were just everywhere at the time. They were everywhere. You couldn't not hear, like, It Smells Like Teen Spirit particularly. That was everywhere.
I think that's like Nevermind's probably it's not their best album. Like, they did some great stuff, to be fair.
But it did expose a lot of people probably to
like a lot of folk picked up a guitar because of Kurt. You can't deny it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you put it more than likely put a guitar in my hand. And it wasn't long after hearing them that I wanted to learn to play the guitar as well.
Mm.
So, and the guitar eventually became my main instrument before I went back to bass when I was in my 30s.
So you started as a bass player then?
I started as a bass player. I played for about...
Yeah. That now explains a lot.
So you're not
style as well. Didn't play with a pick in those days.
Win bass.
Yeah. Bass player that went to guitar and then back to bass.
That's probably why you can play bass properly.
That's why you're a good bass player, yeah.
Well, it wasn't very good. And that like I was saying about those two lads who I went to school with, who were playing guitar and drums, they didn't like me. And they would play their stuff, and I would listen to it, and I would go home and I would record it off the radio onto a cassette, and I'd sit with my bass and I'd learn it, or try and learn it. And then the next time they were rehearsing, I had my bass with me in school. I'd nick the spare bass player, the bass amp out the music room, and just plug in and join in. They'd be like, "Go away!" Which kind of like the you remember the Lure-Pack adverts for the little butter man?
Yeah.
What I would do is I would stand in another part of the music room away where they couldn't see me and play along, and just gradually push my bass amp towards them so I could join in.
Weird, isn't it? Because years down the line, everybody's screaming for bass players to please come and play with us.
Yeah, I will admit I wasn't very good. It's absolutely awful. I just thought it was a case of you just follow the guitar and play the notes. I didn't realise at the time, the actual. You've got to pay more attention to your drummer.
Yeah.
And it was during that I met a lad who was a couple of years above me in school. Darren, his name was, and he said to me, "I'm trying to put a band together. Come and work with me." And he was well into his, I wouldn't go as far as saying full on metal, but he liked metal. He couldn't get any heavier than Megadeth. You could not play a Pantera record to him because he just chucked it out the window. That's one example. And he started introducing me to a lot of bands. He gave me compilation tapes of the likes of Metallica and Maiden, of course. And then I started buying Total Guitar, and I read an article. It was the issue where they tabbed "The Boys Are Back in Town."
Mm-hmm.
and obviously I'd heard that before because they were using it on Gladiators, the TV show. You know,
Oh,
they used it on that.
so they did, yeah.
These songs everybody knew.
Yeah. So you know, I already liked the song, and I learned to play it, and I read the article on Thin Lizzy, you know, and why the twin guitar thing was so iconic, and how Phil lived and died. And I had to go out and buy a few Lizzy albums. Gradually, I went from band to band, playing with different musicians, played gigs. I had a part-time job as a roadie.
Okay.
Shall we say, a self-employed roadie for hire.
Freelance roadie.
I was pals with some like older lads and lasses in club bands and pub bands, etc. And I would, you know, go and see them at a gig and chat them afterwards and drink their free beer and whatnot. And, you know, this is 15-year-old Richie. And I made such good friends with them, you know. I'd get a phone call to my mum's landline from one of them, you know, because I used to give them my phone number saying, if you ever need a guitar player, give me a shout, thinking that I could just fit in.
Yeah.
Just saying, hey, would you mind if you come help with shift the gear on Saturday night? We're playing a club in Benton or, you know, Middlesbrough or whatever. And I ended up going across to North England when I was 15 doing roadieing for bands, and I learned a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I learned a lot doing that. I used to get a $5 and a can of Coke for doing it. But that's how I could afford to buy guitar strings and you know, CDs and whatnot.
You remember going into guitar shops and buying an E string for 75p?
Yeah, I do.
They must have fucking hated us when we did that. Fuck them.
Yeah, or our Plectrum.
Plectrum, yeah.
Yeah, 30 pence.
Actually, I did a bit of roadie work myself back in the day. That was a great way of learning how shows work. I think was doing roadieing before. I did that before I'd done any kind of serious playing properly out in, you know, occasional jam things and stuff. But like roadieing was a great way of experiencing how bands would go out and play shows far away, work, turning up, sound check, you know, dealing with the venue and all that kind of stuff. That was fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Like I said, Stu, I learned a hell of a lot from it.
So
you know, about stage professionalism and whatnot.
What was the records that were kind of coming through to you at that time and turning you on to like more stuff? What kind of things were you getting other like from this guy? What was the stuff you were hearing?
Where I lived, which was, you know, out in the middle of nowhere, there was no record shops. Your source of, you know, if you wanted music, you had to go on a 90-minute bus ride into Newcastle or tune into the radio.
Yeah,
that was it. Or find somebody who would be willing to, you know, put it on a C90 for you. And that's how I did it. That's how I did it. I mean, there was a shop in the town that was selling records and all that, but it was great if you love Foster and Allen.
Tape trading, like we were the original Napster brigade, weren't we? You know, like just copying stuff on the tapes and handing it to your pals.
Home taping is killing music.
Yeah, I remember that.
Home taping is killing music. Hey, just about every album had copied for me on tape. I went out and I bought on a different format, so it didn't kill music for me.
Yeah, that's it. They all
One
got
of the best quote of the 80s that was used in an advert was "Home taping is killing music," and so are Venom.
Yeah, I've seen it. They put it on, you know, they put it on other forms of cassette, you know, like DATs and DCCs, etc. As technology progressed.
They all got our bucks eventually because we bought all those records.
Mm-hmm.
You know, might have taken a couple of years, but we certainly bought them all.
Yeah.
Remember the little logo inside the vinyl that had the cassette tape with the Skull and Crossbones?
Yeah.
Cool as fuck. They should have made T-shirts of that shit. They probably have.
Yeah. Piracy is theft.
Yeah.
So like, so what? How did you get to kind of the more extreme end of stuff? Like, what? How did that progression work? Because you're starting off with like Boston and Thin Lizzy and stuff, but you've ended up with quite a collection of, like, you know, I know you're a massive fan of like Overkill and bands like that. So how did you get from there to there? You know,
I got Master of Puppets on cassette.
Which is what I
And
fucking
that
spoke about
absolutely
on
changed
a couple of
everything.
podcasts ago. Point proven.
it is.
It absolutely changed everything for me.
That's a gateway album, innit?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the gateway album
Yeah.
for modern metal.
You know, the thing that stood out for me, and Steve, I know you're gonna relate to this right away. The thing that stood out for me for that was James Hetfield's rhythm playing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Even me,
Oh,
a Whittly fan.
It's the guitar tone really that
Mm.
I think it's because it's so scooped and it's so like you've never heard anything like that before, because everything before that was heavy mid-rangey. Like Lizzy and Maiden, it's mid-rangey, honky, pokey guitars. And then you hear Master of Puppets and it's like, fuck, what is that? And then you immediately go to your amp and you go, pop the mids out, play the gig with the band and no one can hear you. You're like, fuck, how does it fucking work? But yeah, works on record, doesn't work live.
Yeah. I mean, even Metallica and stuff will put mid-range into their tone live.
You listen to Metallica live compared to the record, it's completely different. It's the mid-range thing.
absolutely.
That record just sounds just like, as soon as you hear like Battery, you're like, oh, okay. And then
I mean, there was also, you know, the time signature changes, in particular on tracks like Why and the title track itself.
Yeah. And the length of the songs as well.
Yeah. I'd never heard anything like that done before. You know, time signature changes like that.
Well, yeah, when you listen to Master of Puppets, the song, and then you get to the middle, but you're like, the fuck just happened there? And even having listened to Maiden, where there's a lot of time changes in Maiden, that's just like, boof, now we're doing this. Oh, fuck.
I'm trying to think of timelines and stuff, but I might have got into kind of early Metallica at the same sort of time as I was getting into Rush. So I think I was kind of getting a lot of that time signature stuff in one.
You were ready for it.
Yeah. I can, you know, I definitely probably, I think, played 2112 at that point. So, you know.
Richie, was that the first Metallica record you'd heard? Or had you heard anything before that?
No, it wasn't. The first one I heard was Kill 'Em All.
Okay. No, what about the Black Album? Because that was probably the first thing I heard by Metallica, just because.
I think that might be my first exposure. Well, my first exposure to it was the Queen.
Yeah, and they were
the 3 songs from the Black Album
and stuff. You know, what did they do? Sad but True, Sandman,
Sad but True, Nothing Else Matters,
and Stone Cold Crazy. Was that the only other song they did?
I think they did Stone Cold Crazy, if I remember rightly. Yeah. So yeah, that was my first exposure to Metallica, and then I think it might have been Master of Puppets after that, because somebody put it on a tape for me.
Yeah,
but it was about the time Metallica that I first heard Kill 'Em All and Master of Puppets in short succession, that Metallica put out The Unforgiven 2 as a single. So when I heard Metallica releasing a new single, I was in for a bit of a shock.
Yeah, because you'd been the same sort of time as me when just getting into it and everything had happened.
Yeah.
Up until the Black Album, then you get into music and you're like, oh, release date, and they bring out Until It Sleeps or whatever. You're like, no, that's a different thing.
and from there, you know, you get into the usual. You get into, you know, the bands that influence them. You get into Motorhead, etc. And to take it further forward, so to speak. After I finished my last year of regular school and I went into sixth form, which I only did for 1 year, we got a new teacher who was a massive metal fan. This guy used to, all rock and metal. This guy used to come into work, school, his work, with a denim jacket with a docking patch on the back. He had a mullet. And he introduced me and my best mate, who was a Metallica diehard, Chris. He introduced us to bands like Slayer, and Anthrax, and that's where my interest in thrash took off. I mean, I don't like all of it. Same with every genre, you know. I don't just because
Slayer's the
genre
gateway
doesn't mean I
to
have to like
Slayer's
it.
the gateway to heavy.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Slayer's the stopping point. You either stop at Slayer and don't get any heavier, or you go on. Like, I think that's the difference between like Slayer and Metallica. If you can listen to Rain and Blood, and then you'll either go and that's enough. I can't go any further than that, or you'll go on to Death and Obituary and Deicide and everything else after that.
I kind of vaguely remember. I think Slayer, were one of those bands I heard. I think somebody, a mate in high school's older brother had Rain.
It's International Slayer Day today, by the way. Did you know?
Oh no.
Yeah.
Slayer Day today.
So I think I heard that in high school and didn't really get it, and then it's something I came back to then a couple of years later after I'd done a bit more metal, and then
you're not getting that first time round. No way.
No. And then I got into it. I think I got into it after, I think I'd at this point discovered Pantera. And I think I went from Pantera to Slayer.
Yeah, I can remember having, I don't know what came first, but it was around the same time, Cowboys from Hell, Vulgar Display of Power, and Season in the Abyss. Around about the same time, so there would have been a Pantera Slayer crossover, definitely.
Yeah, Cowboys from Hell was my first Pantera album, and I remember getting that and listening to it and going, what the fuck's this? That's another one of those.
I remember that. I remember that, you know, I was mentioning me mate Darren, who, you know, introduced us to a lot of metal bands when I was about 14.
Yeah.
There was another mate of ours, Paul, who, interesting enough, when I was about 10, me and him used to trade Commodore games on floppy disk.
Commodore 64.
Yeah. Paul was into metal as well, and we're around at Darren's house having a few underage cans of Special Brew and listening to Aerosmith or something in Darren's bedroom. And Paul came over and he brought this CD by a band called Pantera. And the first thing, you know, it was Vulgar Display of Power. So I remember the punched face. And the first thing I said, no, that's a brand of shampoo, isn't it? Anyways, he put it on, and me and Darren's 3 tracks, and was like, "Get that off! That's fucking awful." But I warmed to them. I warmed to them after a few listens. You know, I just couldn't get away with that. All, you know.
Yeah.
You couldn't get away. Remember, like kids that now, and I suppose even kids then, because of where we were from, they're sort of fairly parochial towns. And even you, Rich, you were outside, although you're northeast, you were outside of Newcastle, you weren't in the city.
Yeah.
We weren't being exposed in any way to kind of underground metal at all.
No.
So listening to like Pantera was like fucking heavy.
It was mind blowing that when it happened to you, you were just like, you know, what is this?
That's like, whoa, that's fucking plenty. And it does take a bit of getting, like, to now a kid listening to Pantera, I was like, that is weak compared to the shit they may listen to. But to us at the time, and I'm not even talking like heavy Pantera, like even, because Vulgar Display is still, it's heavy, but there's still melody there. It was before they went into the kind of extreme territory.
Yeah, I mean, they never really got super noisy till like
Southern Trendkill really was when it went.
Yeah.
My least favourite Pantera album. Probably because it's the least melodic.
It's the least melodic one, yeah. I think sort of Far Beyond Driven, and then beyond that, I'm kind of like,
Although,
but then they brought it back with Reinventing the Steel.
I love Reinventing the Steel. We've had this discussion endless. I think that is a brilliant album. I think it's much maligned. I don't know why there's so much hatred. The tunes on that album are great.
I think it probably just had their time at that point. I think it was just done.
No, maybe for the fan base or whatever, but I don't think I think their creativity was still great at that point.
Oh yeah. No, I just think that not even for the fan base, the fans would have loved that record, but I think just in terms of the media,
it gets a lot of hatred. That album.
Yeah.
For some reason,
it's my least listened to Pantera album. I don't really put it on.
It's in my top 3. That Vulgar. Actually, no. I'm maybe top 4. I don't know. It's hard. I'm flipping them about, but it's in.
I'm going to go listen to some Pantera just now, actually. I fucking love 101 Live. I think that's a brilliant live album.
That's a pretty good live.
Brilliant.
That's a rarely talked about live album.
Phil's banter on that is fucking legendary. It's brilliant. Pure Phil Anselmo.
Yeah.
I mean, there was some, I wouldn't necessarily say new metal, but there was some more modern stuff being tossed around at the same time as well. Bands like Typo Negative were getting listened to.
Cool.
Christ,
not a band I ever got into, and yet almost
Paradise Lost.
Almost every woman I've ever dated has been a massive fan of Typo Negative, and I've never got into it.
Paradise Lost. Draconian Times, man. Draconian Times is a classic. Yeah. Stone fucking cold classic.
Yeah. I used to listen to Paradise Lost, Typo Negative, Rammstein before they were popular. Yeah. Before you know, bloody Sonner and everybody became a fan of them overnight.
Mm-hmm.
But then came the Dark Days, which was new metal.
Yeah, that's probably where I sort of checked out a little bit and went off in a different direction before coming back to metal.
Yeah.
And this is one of my, well, you've known me for long enough and well enough. There's a lot of things piss me off. This is one thing that pissed me off. I wasn't the only aspiring guitar player in the school that I went to. There was a few other lads, and they were all in that sort of Britpop, post-Britpop thing. You know, they were into bands like the Manic Street Preachers and James and things like that.
Yeah, the Manics.
And they suddenly jumped on the new metal bandwagon. And they're ramming it down my throat, saying, "Oh, your band's like Iron Maiden or finished, blah, blah, blah. Modern metal's fantastic. You need to detune your guitar. Oh, don't bother learning solos, etc." And me being sort of naturally rebellious, well, I started going backwards.
That's again another like weird common theme with us all, is that we all kind of like went backwards and then went forwards again. Everybody jumped back to the classics, and then from there that led us into the heavier stuff. Probably because like a lot of that 70s and late 60s stuff was really heavy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, big ass thunder riffs that, you know, and then it's a natural progression in a weird kind of way to the more extreme metal end. Right, so we'll go from there, I suppose, into or back into the guitar aspect. Like, how did you then, like, what kind of stuff were you learning on guitar and doing?
All right, here we go. So my first guitar, Steve, you'll feel my pain on this, was an Encore.
Yeah, Encore.
For the record,
owned by Vintage, by the way, now. GHS.
Yeah. For the record, my first bass was a Legend precision bass copy in Sunburst, which, when I look back now, was not a bad beginner's bass. It was definitely on par with your Squires or Ibanez GSR range. And that was from the days when Squires cost about £100.
Mm.
But anyways, my first guitar was an Encore Les Paul copy in.
That one. That was my next one. It was a Slash one.
Yeah. That's exactly why I asked for it. I got it as a birthday present. That's exactly why I asked for it, because I wanted to be Slash.
Yeah. And then I started to finish off it to be like Mick Ronson.
It was, but it was about that time that I got that I really got into Thin Lizzy, and you know, I saw Robbo and Scott playing Les Pauls as well, so it was a perfect fit.
Yeah.
Now, I was going to guitar lessons with a guy in the locality who played in the pop covers band, just to, you know, learn technique, etc., and a bit of discipline. And he gave me a vinyl copy of Long Live Rock and Roll by Rainbow.
And
then I wanted a Strat. And tail end of 1998, I'd saved up £100 through posting copies of the Daily Mail through people's doors. Still dirty off doing that.
Fascist.
Hey, the things you got to do for money, mate. uh, I saved up 100 quid from that, and I took my Encore Les Paul copy through to Newcastle, 90 minutes on the bus to, it's not there anymore, a little place in Old Eldon Square called Grot Guitars, where I saw this beautiful off-white Korean Squire with gold lettering and a rather chunky neck. It wasn't your affinity range, it was above that, you know, it was like a Squire Deluxe.
Oh, the Korean ones were good.
Yeah. And I played it for about 10 minutes, and the guy told me to fuck off. So I said to him,
as they did back in the day.
Guitar shop batter, eh? You know, that's off.
Right? It was basically a case of 10 minutes with it, and there's right, that's enough, so now fuck off. I said to him, I goes, how much do you want for it? He goes, 180 quid. I goes, would you take 100 quid plus what I've got in my case? He goes, what you got in your case? I goes, Encore Les Paul copy. He goes, well, again, you can fuck off. Tell you what, gives 100 quid and take an Encore and sling your hook. So ended up leaving, right? Going on a 90-minute bus journey with this lovely Squire Strat in the Encore case, with the Encore just hanging loose in the rain, you know, as I walk through the village. Encore on his shoulder and the Strat and the gig bag. That's the guitar that really, you know, because I got a better one. And as
you still got that guitar, though?
Sorry?
You still have that guitar?
I still have that guitar, just right to my right, hanging on the wall. I rarely play it. And it was a few years later that I realised that I wanted a Les Paul again. I ended up selling me.
This is a theme. This is the fucking theme with guitar players. Like, it really is.
Yeah.
I started with a Strat, went to the Les Pauls, went to the V's, and then went by a Strat again. Fucking idiots, man, honestly.
I had a Kramer V for a short while.
I've seen the photo. That looks great.
Yeah. I sold it to a lad from Liverpool who still keeps in contact with me now and again. He's still got it.
Getting a Kramer V in Newcastle in like the late 90s can't have been that easy, though. Must have been quite a rare thing.
It was early 2000s by this point.
Still, though.
I saw it in an ad mag. It was Flying V guitar for sale, 50 quid. And I thought it was going to be some home built, or, you know, maybe a
50 quid?
Yeah, 50 quid.
A steal, man.
Yeah, steal. Yeah, 50 quid I paid for that.
Back in the days when people didn't know what they had.
The guy threw in a load of pedals and a Vox amp as well.
Jesus.
Fucking hell. You're not getting those deals on Facebook Marketplace, like, not anymore.
Absolutely not. It was in AdMag, which is a free advertising paper which you could get in the Northeast, which was a good place to find musicians as well back in those days. But we're into the early 2000s by this point. I could never afford it. Well, I can now, but I could never at the time afford a premium brand guitar. I never had a Gibson or a Fender or anything like that, and always made did was second best. You know, Squires, Epiphones.
But it didn't hold you back, man. This is see, kids. Fucking here I go again. But honestly, like there's like, remember when I took the kid Thomas guitar shopping, and he's like got 300 quid in his pocket, which is a lot of fucking money, man.
Yeah.
And 300 quid gets you a lot of guitar now.
It does. It does.
But when we were starting out, you were looking at under 200 quid.
Yeah.
You were fucking lucky to have even that, and that was getting you pretty much a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Really.
I do remember one lad I went to school with had an Epiphone Les Paul. Was Cherry Sunburst with Bird's Eye Maple. And I've never seen another one like it. It was spotty, you know. Strange maple cap on it. And
I think as guitar players, man, we fetishize gear way too much. But because now we do, because we're exposed to it so much more. But like back in the day, like all we had was whatever was advertised in Total Guitar, which in the late 90s was Dan Electro pedals. Remember them?
Yeah.
The
fish and chips and the
pepperoni. Daddy-O was awful.
We all had those. We all had that.
Zoom 505.
Yep.
It was the Wayne's World moment, wasn't it? Where like you looked in magazines and stuff and saw pictures of like guitars and were like, oh, one day I'll get that.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing full well you probably never would because they were like way too expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, on the subject of pedals and whatnot, then I mean, those little 2-pedal Zoom things. I didn't get one of them until much later on. I had an Ibanez PT3 multi-effects.
I think it was the only multi-effect I had was a Zoom 505.
Yeah.
After that, I went straight into the amp. It must have put me off.
I was even when I moved out with my mother's and got my own place, moved in with the birds and whatnot. Living with women. There was
self-edit there.
Or nor was there even the space to have a proper head and cab. I did get one when I was in my club band days, which was around 2007. I did get a Marshall JCM 2000 and a pair of 4x12s, which I subsequently sold when I first moved up to Scotland a decade ago. But the Ibanez PT3 kept me right for quite a few years. I bought it from a shop that's no longer there anymore, called Spenders.
Very, very Geordie of you.
Without Jim Neal, I'm assuming.
No, the guy who ran this place used to say, yeah, this is the guitar shop in Spender. And when I was a kid, I'd only ever seen one episode of it because it was always shown after my mother used to send us to bed.
After the watershed.
Yeah. Oh, bloody hell, man! I was sent to bed until I was bloody 8 o'clock until I was about 14, man. Ridiculous. I was on a right strict rule when I was younger. Anyways, the guy who ran this guitar shop, Spenders, used to say that, this was the guitar shop in Spender. Like I said, I'd only ever seen one episode. And for many, many years, I believed him. Then I watched, when YouTube started becoming a thing, somebody uploaded every episode. And I do remember one episode where they stood outside the guitar shop in the film, which is about a quarter of a mile away from this actual shop. So it wasn't the bloody guitar shop in Spenders. They just changed the name to cash in on it. Yeah. I had a spell with a club band in my mid-20s, 3 years of originally playing rock music, but gradually more and more pop music kept in to bring money in. I was making a fair whack with that club band, making a few £100 a week at some point. Oh, there was one gig I came away with £500 in my pocket.
Don't tell the tax man this.
Sorry?
The tax man might hear this. Me chasing you.
Tax devolution, Steve. I didn't live in Scotland at the time, therefore I've nothing to declare to the Scottish Parliament. Mind you, Boris probably wants it now, like. Anyways.
They'll get you one way or the other.
He's going to need it.
They probably will. They'll probably know next time I go home to see my dad. Oh Christ.
So did you go into metal bands at any point in that kind of period? Were you playing metal?
Yes. For many years in the late 90s, early 2000s, tried to start, and I did that for a little while, a traditional style metal band, kind of like what we're doing now. But I could never find the bloody musicians who want to play it, It's, I'll play that, blah, blah, blah. Right, I want to cover this song by Korn. I want you to sort off. The only real metal band I had, we had Glenn Howes on the podcast a few weeks back.
Yeah.
There was a 5 months of me and him working together on something.
Is that the band you told us about in that episode?
Yeah, Earth Rod.
Earth Rod.
We've covered that one. You don't need a redo it. If anybody didn't see it, go back and watch it, because that's probably still my favourite episode.
A good episode, that one, yeah.
It's really good.
And after that, there was an ill-fated project with Sean Jeffries from Avenger. We tried to put together a power metal band, and they ended up doing something after I packed it in with them. But after that, me and my mate Grant, who's now the lead vocalist of A Crunch of Sticks, we had a more thrashy, extreme kind of band. It was more than thrash, you know. To tune the guitars, Grant put on the death metal growls. We had a drummer who had an amazing double kick technique.
What was the influences, kind of main stuff that was kind of in there?
Carcass.
Okay.
Yeah. I wanted to play old school metal, but the other guitar player who I brought in, who I recommended,
Carcass
playing.
Carcass are definitely a natural progression from traditional metal. Yeah. Bill Steer has a very traditional metal kind of feel to his playing.
From Heartwork onwards, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. The earlier stuff, maybe not quite so much.
Going backwards is harder.
Yeah.
If you get into Heartwork and you go back, you're like, ooh, it's rough. Because it's grindcore at that point.
That was me. I was Heartwork first, and then went backwards.
Yeah,
so,
and it's like,
I love Heartwork. I struggle with the earlier stuff personally.
Yeah, that's kind of where you separates the men from the boys. I think, because there's a Napalm Death, obviously Bill's in Napalm Death, and it's that kind of crossover at that point.
Yeah,
I think Carcass's Heartwork album is probably the most you can push me when it comes to extreme side of metal. To be honest, I can't go backwards in the back catalogue, and I can't really get into anything more extreme than that. I really can't. And that was it. During that time, I had some form of silly revelation where I decided I quit the band. I threw my leather jacket away and I cut my hair short. At 22 years old. Yep. At 22 years old. So, like I said, I had a spell in the club band for 3 years after that, and a year with a blues band, which was a lot of fun, a hell of a lot of fun. And then I made the move north. Made the move north, where I sat on my arse for a lot of years.
Did that too.
It was probably, there was a point though where it was quite hard to put bands together, particularly for the kind of music.
It was, yeah.
And as you kind of alluded to, Richie, like there's just like struggling to get guys who were interested in playing the stuff that we were listening to, you know.
Another thing which I struggled with a lot, and I had this conversation with Stephen Swanson last year at Called Wild Festival, is musicians who are, here comes the whistle, hard. Hey, right?
What do you mean?
I've worked with, over the years, I've worked with so many softies in music, and it's inevitable. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to get things wrong. Somebody's got to tell you, and you've got to accept it, and that includes me. You know, you can be rehearsing with a band, and you say, "You're playing that wrong, mate." No, I'm not. You know, and they go on the defense and take it to heart, and they're going around telling everybody you're a dick and things like that. And you know, we don't have that. If one of us is playing something wrong, we'll stop, we'll correct them, and that person's got to accept it. You know, you've got to be tough like that. You can't be a prima donna.
Yeah, I think if you're learning and if you're in a band, you have to kind of, it's about teamwork. So you have to kind of accept the collective will of the team at some points, you know.
Or receive a smack in the mouth.
Take one for the team.
I struggled with a lot of musicians of that nature for a long time, and it really did burn my fingers to the point where, I mean, I never had it with the extreme metal band. They were great. in terms of, getting along and socialising, etc., I'm still pals with all of them. It was quite a similar vein to Tantrum. And, well, you've met Grant at Trillian's gig last year.
Yeah.
He's a cracking lad.
Got one of our
Other bands, I got my fingers I got my fingers burned a lot with a lot of those aborted projects. And I found myself in between that extreme metal band and Tantrum. I found myself mostly playing with guys who were older than me, because they were tough musicians.
I think it's one of those things. If you're when you start bands and stuff, like you do go through a lot of like false starts. I've started way more bands than I've ever actually played with. It's properly. Some of them never get past the idea stage. Sometimes you might get like 1 or 2 rehearsals and it just falls apart. Sometimes you may get a little bit further down the line before you just decide that nobody can stand each other and off the fuck. It's there's a lot of like almost was bands that never were.
I mean, it's coming up to 5 years since I first worked with yourself, Stu. And
is it really?
It is quick, man.
And yeah, there was an attempt at a covers band before that, which it was working, but there was things that just fell apart about it. And it was during that time somebody talked me into playing bass again.
Guess what? We need fucking bass players. There's too many guitar players.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody's.
And a year and a half later, I end up in Tantrum.
That's full circle.
That's it, I suppose, eh? So
it's got the stage. I mean, at one point I owned 11 guitars. Now I've sold most of them, bar 3, and replaced most of them with basses. I've thrown everything in with bass now. The Les Paul and the Strat only come off the wall if I've got a little songwriting idea in my head.
It's amazing, like how consistent this story is amongst all 3 of us. It's like it's quite similar,
It is.
The same points keep happening, and we all took a similar path. You came in at whatever point you started at, you went backwards, and then you went forwards again with like music history and things. It's weirdly
we're all roughly of the same age. We grew up with the same things of you listen to music on one of these, good old C90 cassette.
Although, like, we weren't doing the reel-to-reels. That's your thing.
No.
Don't knock a reel-to-reel. That's absolutely gorgeous to look at. And
we did grow up at the same time, but we grew up out of time at the same time as well. Fucking hell, that was a lot. I said time a lot there. But none of us were really in step with what was going on at the time.
Yeah. No.
Never quite happy with what was current. Always looking for something different. Always looking for something, I think, is like a kind of... It was always like amazement at hearing something new and not really being content with just having what was available, through regular channels. There was the fun, I think, one of the fun things was the discovery, like finding new ways of finding new art, artists and stuff, things you'd never heard before. That was one of the fun things as a fan.
And then, like, the internet has fucking helped with that, like, big time. Like, because I've gone back using YouTube, gone back to finding out all the bands that I couldn't afford to buy their shit.
Yeah.
At the time, and then finding out, oh yeah, I like that band, and then now I can afford to buy it, so then I'm going and actually buying their stuff.
Yeah.
I was doing that. I was doing that in the early 2000s, so to speak. I was just before Lars Ulrich launched his big court case. I was using Napster on 56k dial-up, where it would take about 2 hours to download a 4-minute song.
Yeah, you just set it going and go for like go on with your day. Just leave it in the morning and come back at home and it'd be there.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. I'd never download full albums. Never download full albums. It would be like a few tracks by a band that I've always wanted to hear because I saw them mentioned in Kerrang magazine or whatever. And if I liked what I heard, I'd try and go out and buy it. If I didn't, I'd just delete them.
I used it quite often for getting bootlegs, actually, the kind of file sharing thing. And you remember like album wraps, where you would get like a bootleg live record as an album wrap, and it would download, and then you had to like have another program to unwrap it. And you would get all these like I got like some like legendary bootleg records that were like heralded amongst fan circles as like this was the bootleg that you needed to hear of this particular show. Good soundboard recordings, that kind of stuff, you know. Yeah, I used that. I remember that being a big thing back then.
Like when I started getting back, because like I had a period out of metal and then came back into it, and went through the traditional channels of buying the magazines, although it was Metal Hammer by that point and not Kerrang, because Kerrang had seriously wimped out and gone downhill at that point.
Yeah,
and
it did.
There was nothing for me in Kerrang at that point.
Yeah.
Just going to stop you there, Steve. Do you remember when Kerrang launched that TV channel?
Yeah.
My mum had just got Sky Digital at the time, and I remember coming home from college. I was at college at the time. And, it was about 4:30 in the afternoon, flicking through the channels. So, oh, wow, Kerrang have got a TV channel. Fantastic. I hadn't bought the magazine for about 2 years by that point. I put it on. What's the first thing I see?
I'm going to say, oh, yeah. Yeah, they did a lot of that, didn't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Sorry to cut you off, but I had to get that in.
What's weird is like, I was talking to my mate actually on video chat the other night, and he put on the Kerrang TV channel, which is still on air, I think, somewhere. Or Kerrang Radio, it might have been, something like that.
Kerrang Radio, yeah, still there.
And he was rhyming off the songs that were playing in the back, because I couldn't hear them properly. And I was like, that's the same playlist that they had on that TV station back fucking...
in the 90s. Yeah, it is.
Or, you know. Hasn't changed. It's still the same stuff.
Because whenever you go to a hotel, you put the music, you go and try and find some music for when you're getting ready to go out.
I can pretty much guarantee it's almost like the first turn-on's either going to be like System of a Down or
Puddle of Mud.
Fucking
Breaking Benjamin.
This Is My Last Resort by Papa Roach.
Oh, that shit. Yeah, still on there.
Yeah, never changed.
The dark times. I don't need reminded of it. Thank you.
They were dark times, yes, indeed.
Well, we should probably wrap this up now.
I need to go to bed.
I
don't work in the morning.
Cool.
Right, we will... How will we finish this? I mean, I think we've kind of wrapped it all up, in our little potted bios here. This is a very self-centric episode. We've never really done this before.
No, it was fun. Yeah. Enjoyed it.
We've learned some shit about each other. We've learned that we're all pretty much the same person.
Yeah. Pretty much.
That's what you should have for the thumbnail of it, Stu. You should have like a bit like Queen's The Miracle, where the three of us just melded into one.
Well, Steve's the fucking Photoshop guy, so he'll have to do it.
I don't want to see that. Nobody else wants to see that. That would be fucking hideous.
Maybe like Sloth from the Goonies.
Well, what we could do is we could get a picture of Steve, and we could put Stu's beard on him and my specs, and there we go.
Again, nobody wants to see that shit.
Like
that
I'm a train guy.
What the hell was that about?
Oh, yeah. No, fuck no.
What the hell was that about?
Oh, that guy's YouTube channel is good. I've seen he's one on mushrooms with the whistle thing. Is great.
Right.
But again, we're in joke territory here. Nobody else can know what we're talking about. Right, we will wrap up here. So, as per usual, if you would like to purchase anything, Bandcamp, you're now 1 day past when we're recording this, the Bandcamp fee waiving on Friday, which was good. So thank you if you bought something. Hopefully Bandcamp continue to do this, because
I think it's become a regular thing.
It really has been.
Yeah, I think they're going to keep it going. Bandcamp are awesome.
They are. We're going to make more use of Bandcamp.
There seems to be more kind of labels and stuff jumping on it, like big, like Death Row. I mean, it's not metal, but Death Row jumped on Bandcamp. That's kind of crazy.
Was in the rap label.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they put Snoop Dogg's first album, Dr. Dre, on there, a couple other ones.
Yeah.
That's a big ass label to jump onto Bandcamp.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
It's the future, man. I honestly think it is. I think they're more in tune with people than like the Spotify and iTunes and stuff. I can see
it's more centered around music fans, I think.
Yeah, and it's more catered towards musicians.
Yeah, it does everything. So if you would like to buy something, go to Tantrum Scotland Bandcamp.
Yeah.
And go to Tantrum Scotland anywhere for all your social media needs, where the shite that we post, which is stuff like this. We will be back next week. We will probably try and get another guest at some point, maybe not next week, but some point in the immediate future, because we've enjoyed having Glenn and Dan on, and that's something we should definitely do more of. If
you want to be on the show, give us a shout.
Yeah.
We'll probably let you. We're not picky.
Just have something interesting to talk about. That's really all we ask. It's not.
Or be entertaining.
Yeah. If anybody's got any questions, please send us them, because we never hear enough questions from you. Give us questions. Ask us shit. It helps.
Tell us what to do.
Yeah, fill some content. Be part of it. Be part of the team.
Apart from asking us when the album's coming out, of course.
Yes.
Yeah. The album's coming out when we get out.
Yeah.
Is that us?
It's us.
Yeah. So I think.
Let's be careful and let's not be fannies. There's a demonstration in Edinburgh tomorrow, actually, in Glasgow, I believe, the day after. So if you're going, be careful.
Yes.
But you should probably, if you want to go, you should probably go.
Social distancing. Remember that. We need.
You're not going to be able to social distance if you go. I guess if you're going, you firmly believe that some things are more important. So fair play to you.
Yeah. Well, this has been highly topical. We will do this again next week, as always. Peace.
Bye.